sound like Republicans doing that sound like Democrats. And I don't think people have the patience for that right now. And there is no way that I can see gas prices coming down to anywhere near they were well before the end of the summer. There's no way it's going to happen until the fall, even if you get close. So I don't know politically what they're thinking here. If he doesn't think inflation and gas prices are a significant, issue for the American people and independent voters in particular, he's dead wrong on that.
Of course. What he's also risking is that he's risking a global slowdown. That oil prices today have been in the 80s, and now they're in the low 80s, which people wonder, well, why isn't it 200? We're at war. There's 12% of the oil supply is lost to the world.
Well, Trump said that to a certain extent, right?
Yeah, and so the impact of this is far more than just the price of the pump. There's all kinds of things that move straight that aren't getting straight, and I think either you're going to get a lot of inflation or you're going to get a lot of global slowdown. Neither of them will serve the Republican Party well going into midterm.
The good news is, Ted, your party continues to act crazy and elect people that are unhinged. So that's maybe the only thing that the Republicans have going for them right now when it comes to this. But I hear people saying, I even hear Trump saying, look, if it's by August, if the gas prices kind of come down and things quiet by August, well, August is going to be here real fast, right? We have an election coming up early in August, and that's going to be here very, very quickly. So the timetable here, and I'm actually shocked at how patient he has been. I'm really surprised by that. And there must be something that Wickoff and Kushner are telling him to make him be patient, but I'm not sure what that is.
Voters have made it clear over many decades that they're not interested in the blame game. They don't care who's responsible when gas prices are this high or when the economy is suffering in the way it is. Affordability is going to be an issue. The economy is always an issue, and whoever the party in power is going to pay a price for that. When it happens under Democrats pay the price. When it happens under Republicans pay the price, because there's just no patience among the American people for this type of economic situation.
We'll take a break. It's Weird Roundtable on Friday. Former State Senator John Lamping is here. Ted House on the other side. Sue's got traffic. Fred's here. We got all kinds of fun stuff with Paul Hall on entertainment. Cusumano is going to give us a preview of the sports weekend. The Cardinals up in Minnesota. The World Cup takes place. Well, I think there's games going on right now, but USA plays tonight. Brian Kilmeade is in L.A. He's going to join us after 5 o'clock.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Westbound 70, there is an accident approaching Cave Springs, and it's caused a delay back through 94. Now, eastbound traffic is slowing at 141. And westbound, by the way, that's the worst of it on westbound 70. Then there's some volume out at Highway A through Wentzville, but the worst of it is behind Cave Springs. Now, 64 is lined up. It's mainly moderate volume, but it is from Hampton out through McCausland. Then you get a break, and it slows again, approaching Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Now, if you're on the Illinois side, we've got that road work going on, so delays eastbound 70 and 55, 64 at 3rd Street, and eastbound 64 at 255. All of those are slow. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Honey, I found the one.
Oh, I thought I was the one.
Oh, you are, but this one's certified, background check, shows up on time, and can install ceiling fans.
Heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing. Trusted pros who do it right.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Noah Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
License number GL250000615.
You're cooking dinner. The lights go out. You flip the breaker and forget about it.
But what if it keeps tripping?
Trips once, your breaker's doing its job. Keeps tripping, that's a warning. Bad wiring or something worse.
Do people just keep flipping it?
Most do until they can't anymore.
Call Grasser. We'll stop the trip.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeServices.com.
According to MasterCard, Nearly half of small businesses have been a victim of a cyber attack. As cybercrime escalates, ThrottleNet is calling on businesses to strengthen their security posture by taking a free online IT security audit right from your desk. This 3-minute online assessment provides an immediate score to see security gaps and vulnerabilities in your network. For 26 years, ThrottleNet has supported your business IT everything right here in St. Louis. In fact, no client of ThrottleNet has ever paid a ransom. So visit throttlenet.com/971 to take the free assessment today.
Annie Fry here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They are the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Friday afternoon, that means a Reardon Roundtable on the panel this afternoon. Former State Senator John Lamping, who is showing off puppy pictures to Sue right now. That's acceptable. We love our animals here on the show. Ted House is also here, former circuit judge and a former state senator and state representative. All right, so Ted, I'll start with you. There was a warning. I had the State Senator Scott Fitzpatrick on the air with me yesterday. He's kind of issuing a warning to Governor Kehoe about using his veto pen very generously because of the budget situation that the state is in right now. You guys are both people who've been in the legislature. You know this budgeting process pretty well. I mean, they're talking about cutting, I guess, at least $1.6 billion. That sounds like a large number, but I suppose that's what has to happen in order to balance this budget out.
Mark, the irresponsibility from the Republican supermajority in the legislature is staggering. We're headed off a fiscal cliff in Missouri. It's all about cutting taxes for the wealthiest and the most privileged of people, shouldering that burden then on the middle class and the poor. And Missouri's Constitution has a balanced budget amendment, and we can't spend more money than we have. And the legislature has been very irresponsible about that with the tax cuts that they proposed without taking care of that revenue. This constitutional amendment, in August to cut the eliminate the income tax, that's really going to result in a tax increase.
Well, we'll talk about that.
80% of Missouri.
I have a different opinion on that. But, John, I mean, can you challenge what he's saying about the Republicans and their level of spending with the supermajority? I mean, they spent more than the governor asked for, right?
Well, look, the Republicans have been the majority, but conservatives have been in the deep minority. The Republican Party is in the majority principally because the rural Democratic Party switched over on social issues from being Democrats to being Republicans. I think Ted might very well done the same thing had he been around during that period of time. And they're not conservative. Republicans in Jeff City are not conservative. They are big supporters of public school system, the teachers union, the administrators union, and so they spend as much as they can possibly spend on the education side. There's some people say, well, they're not formula, but that's all BS. And they don't cut spending. The Medicaid expansion that occurred via a ballot initiative also brought tremendous cost to the state. And
some of us predicted that.
Some of us filibustered it for 2 years. Before the amendment. But I heard Scott yesterday, and I just want to tell your listeners, like Scott is somebody, if he decides he wants to be a governor of the state, he will be governor of the state. He's a very well thought of young man, very successful in his private sector before joining the public sector. He's sharp. He knows what he's talking about. I heard he said that Mike Kehoe is doing a good job. Well, Mike Kehoe is the kind of Republican that is a big government Republican. He's been down there for 15, 16 years, and during all this period, the budget exploded. And so I'll be interested to see if Mike's willing to step up and to cut spending.
I mean, he has to, doesn't he?
He doesn't have to this year. It'll fall in the legislature next year. They'll have to start. And at the end of the day, I think the cutting spending is a very, very difficult thing. The last governor who really did that was Matt Blunt, and Matt became wildly unpopular and chose not to run for re-election. So I think Kehoe is very much aware that the Blunt family is a big part of who Kehoe listens to, and he'll do all he can not to have to take that on prior to his re-election. So yeah, the answer to your question is yes, we're in fiscal straits. It's not because of cutting taxes for the rich and famous and all that kind of stuff that Ted likes to say, because we are a big government Republican Party in the state of Missouri. We spend way too much on the things we spend money on. And,
okay, now that is actually, let me segue into the income tax situation here, because some conservative Republicans are using that argument to say we don't trust the rest of the majority when it comes to applying these sales taxes. I understand that because how can you trust politicians? But on the other side of the equation, with the people that are kind of fighting this, and let me just read something I saw from Facebook. I don't even know who this person is, right? But there's nothing that's really true here. It says, "Wake up, Missouri! If the measure to remove the income tax becomes law, by the way, it would be phased out. You'll be paying sales tax on absolutely everything." Well, that's not true. You'll be taxed on funerals, doctor visits, vehicle sales, medications, dentist expenses, vehicle repairs, home repairs, medical car. I mean, I can go on here. But none of this is true. Okay. And the governor's made it clear that medical and real estate in particular is off the table. There's a prediction here. If you buy a $250,000 home, you'll have an extra $45,000 to your purchase price. Ted, the way that people, you can have and you can make a case against this thing, okay? And I understand that. But you got people out there, and this person's a realtor, and they're just lying about everything because none of that is true. And I bet her, by the way, I bet her $45,000. I said, I'll bet you $45,000 that that'll never happen. I haven't gotten word back because it will never happen. We know that. Now, they have to put sales taxes on some services. I think my criticism has been to put the cart before the horse. So I understand why people would say we don't trust Republicans, where are these taxes going to go? But some of the stuff from your side is just not true.
Well, what's true is the language of the actual constitutional amendment, which authorizes the legislature to impose sales and use taxes on a variety of things. We've never experienced that before in Missouri. I wish that it were true that this Republican legislature were supporting public education. I was the chairman of the Education Committee in the Senate. We've been working in St. Charles County to protect our public schools,
but they spend more money every year.
And one of the biggest problems that we have is this new legislation, which injects partisan politics into the election of school board members. And now school board members in St. Charles County will be running as Democrats and Republicans, and we're going to have Democrat and Republican school districts, which is a terrible idea. But I digress. Back to the taxes.
Well, I like it better than all Democrat school boards. So let's see, I would favor that a little bit.
Well, we don't have
what we have
Democrat
now.
School boards, but we've finally managed to defeat some of the right-wing culture war folks who were more interested in the right-wing culture wars than in doing what's right for our families and our community. But nevertheless, Fitzpatrick was right to draw attention to the fiscal cliff that Missouri is facing. And the proposal on the ballot in August that eliminates the income tax, again, is a tax increase as a practical matter for 80% of Missourians. The legislature is saying,
where's that come from? 80% of Missouri. I mean, I've done the math, and they have charts out right now. I think it's mathematically impossible for me to spend more money on sales tax than my Missouri income tax. Now, that's going to not be the same for everything. But I mean, you have spent a lot of money on things, and
the calculation is that people will end up spending more on sales and use taxes than they're paying in income tax.
I know, but I reject that.
Okay, here's a different way of looking at
certain income groups for sure.
Different way of looking at it is there's 6 million Missourians, and about 2.5 million of them work. Okay, so that means that the other people that don't work don't pay income taxes. Yep. So if you're going to get rid of the income tax, people are going to get the tax for people that work. So the majority of Missourians don't work. So, so what's going to be interesting in this challenge is that no state has tried to do this since 1959. So there's no template. There's no way. Nobody knows how this is going to happen. I mean, the strength and the flaw in this initiative is that it essentially says, okay, legislature, you've got the constitutional coverage to go try to do this. And when they go try to do it, it's going to be a miserable time to be a legislator the next 2 or 3 or 4 years.
You mean if it passes? Okay, well, you might not have to worry about that.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing that is that it's hard to get to yes on any ballot initiative. But if they don't get to yes, the one thing about Mike Steele that I like, if I know him to know to be true, is that when Mike thinks that something's a good idea, he doesn't care if he loses time after time after time. He'll keep going at it. He'll keep trying to get to it. So it could be.
But the legislature could do this on their own.
They could do a lot of this on their own, and then they potentially could be challenged in court. On the other side when they have to raise the tax on something else. And I think what will happen is either this will pass and they'll get to work in Jeff City starting in January, or they'll just take a different route. And I could see this comes back on the ballot at a different time. The fortunate thing for the governor is that he had to choose when to put this in the ballot. He had to compete with Amendment 3, which is the pro-life ballot initiative. There's also Amendment 4, which is a way to change the initiative petition. So that wasn't particularly well suited, I think, for this time around. I also would suggest that the governor has not really done the greatest job in the world selling this to Missourians the last 18 months, which is really what is required.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see, and I'm always wrong about these political predictions, so this might be good for Governor Keel and the Republicans. I don't only think it's going to fail. I think it's going to fail really big.
I can't imagine that this would pass. I think when people realize what it does, Missouri's tax system is already horribly regressive. The less wealth you have in the state of Missouri, the higher percentage of that wealth you pay in taxes, and this just makes it worse by taking the tax burden off of the wealthiest people and imposing it on the middle class.
How the wealthiest people don't pay income tax. That's
correct.
The thing. It's the working people that pay income tax. The wealthy people are looking at their 401ks, they're living off their stocks and everything like that. Look, I pay a lot of income tax.
Missouri's budget is heavily reliant on income taxes. And again, the majority of Missourians don't pay income taxes. They don't work. So look, what we know empirically, and I said before, it's not since 1959 that this change occurred in Tennessee. We know these 9 states that have this no income tax, they benefit immeasurably in terms of economic growth and activity. One state, Connecticut, was in the same lane until the 90s when it actually reimposed the income tax in their economy. Has suffered ever since. So,
but what the opponents like to say is, maybe there's something to this. We don't have a Nashville like Tennessee does, and obviously Texas has big states, and you're going to get a lot of revenue that way. I don't look. I think it's hard even for me, and I support this thing. It's hard for me to argue for it 100% simply because I don't know what the carve-outs are. So I understand the argument with the cart before the horse. But I mean, Ted, John, let me ask you. I always ask him. You don't think it's going to pass, do you?
I think it could with a much greater effort than I'm seeing in the here and now. But having said that, to get to a yes is very, very difficult. So, as a betting person, the odds are probably way in favor of the no.
Do you think even the voters will have a comprehension or an understanding of some of the other amendments, like Amendment 4 with the initiative petition?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
And that's why Amendment 4, like changing, we have when we have initiative petitions either through the legislature or through some third party, is direct democracy. Country, they're not set up to do direct democracy. We're a constitutional republic. We're a representative republic. We hire somebody to go down to the city, to the Capitol, and understand the issues and vote on our behalf. And we've got this silly approach to these initiative petitions where the majority only has to be 50% to change the Constitution. It's miserable. I mean, the Amendment 4 would fix that, but I don't think that's going to pass either because we haven't.
Ted, do you support that? Look, I've complained about the initiative petition process since the 1980s in Missouri, quite honestly, and I do think it's a little too easy to do these things when you change the Constitution, even on some of the ballot issues that I've been in favor of.
Well, there could certainly be some reforms in the initiative petition process in terms of outside influence and money and those kinds of things. I mean, anybody wants to take private money out of politics, that's I'm all in for that. So that would solve a whole lot of problems. But that's another subject too in terms of campaign finance reform. The initiative petition process is the ultimate safeguard for democracy. And if it's such a good idea to make it virtually impossible for a citizen-led petition to amend the Missouri Constitution, then why doesn't the legislature put the same very high bar and difficult standard for constitutional amendments that they propose? But if the legislature proposes it, then it just would need a simple majority. But under this provision that we're voting on in August, if it's a citizen initiated petition, then it requires this majority in the congressional districts, which would be virtually impossible. So I think it's an assault on democracy. I think it takes away the power of the people. Ultimately, yeah, we're a constitutional republic, but ultimately the people need to have a safeguard that protects a legislature that is well to the right of where the people of Missouri actually are. And
but
does not
part of the reason they
want
want the Republicans want this is because they feel like and this happens, maybe this is a campaign finance issue, but a lot of money comes in on these issues. A lot of money is going to come in on Amendment 3 because we have another abortion issue that John mentioned in the fall. So that's going to be heavily debated and a ton of money coming in. I just on the initiative petition thing, it's always driven me crazy because they refer to it as IP reform because that's what it is. And people think it's internet protocol, and they don't really. I just don't think people have any real understanding of what that is all about. Do you agree with Ted House that removes the ability to pass these things if you have a threshold that's higher?
The threshold is not higher. It's just how the signatures are collected. Right? But I will agree with Ted in that I think the bar is too low for the legislature, when they put it on the ballot, I think to change our constitution should not be 50%. It should be 60% or more. And the reason it is the way it is that this is the highest profit margin business for political consultants, because they get paid if it's a yes or no. And when we have such a low threshold, then these big issues like abortion, they get all the money from outside of the state, all around the country. This money comes in, and the political consultants get paid a fortune to run these types of campaigns. It's in their interest for the threshold to stay exactly where it is. If we had a 6% threshold like we do in Florida, then we wouldn't see anywhere near as much national money come in on these.
It's my big miss not being a political consultant, really is. Maybe the three of us could just kind of get together and do something and make money for being wrong all the time. We're coming back with more on the Reardon Roundtable.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, the accident on westbound 70 is approaching Cave Springs, and they've got the left lanes blocked. Only the right lane is getting by. We've got a parking lot jam that goes back not quite to the Blanchette Bridge. It's more like just past 94. Now, eastbound traffic is pretty slow at 141. And if you're westbound on 64, it's almost Kings Highway now, out through McCausland. Eastbound, slowing at Big Bend. And then westbound picks up again west of Winghaven, out through the 70 split. Southbound 270 is in pretty good shape. There's some moderate volume at Gravois. And if you're headed into Illinois, it's a slow go from the Poplar Street Bridge to 70, and that's just due to road work. Eastbound 64 is slowing at 255. This report is brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. For over 25 years, they have been St. Louis's trusted choice for transforming homes inside and out. They do everything from siding to bathrooms, and to give you quality craftsmanship backed by lifetime warranties. Go to lakesiderd.com to start your dream project today. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's Traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
You've got to try the new TikTok diet.
Just ask Chat.
I just take blue-green algae.
You just have to eat kale. Kale, kale, kale.
I read you should put butter in your coffee.
Or you could trust your gut. When it comes to your energy, digestion, and overall health, how do you know what's actually right for you? That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple, at-home gut health test that looks at your body's real-time biology using RNA to show what's going on inside you right now. Not trends, not guesses, your biology. With your results, Viome gives you clear, personalized, actionable guidance. Which foods help you, which ones don't, and which supplements your body actually can benefit from. All based on the world's largest gut health databases and thousands of clinical research studies. Many people who use Viome report better digestion, more energy, and an improved mood within months. So stop guessing. Start knowing.
And maybe still eat the kale?
Maybe. Learn more at viome.com/know. V as in Victor, IOME.com/KNOW. And use coupon code VIOME50 to save $50 off your purchase.
And eat everything blue.
No thanks.
If your air conditioning system just not cooling, you feel it's not cooling, go outside and also make sure the outside unit is running along with the inside unit, those little black lines that are coming out of your house, see if they have ice on them. If you notice ice, check your filter. Make sure if your filter is dirty, it won't make your system ice. Another thing to check is your breaker on the inside. If cleaning your filter and cleaning the outside and you're checking your breaker still does not work, call me. You'll need me to come out. Sorry. But good thing, there's a really easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It is area code 314-293-2600. Again, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600, or on the internet, bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did, they gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-491-9914. 800-491-9914. That's 800-491-9914.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
This portion of the show is sponsored by Jerry Kelly, heating, air conditioning, electrical, and plumbing.
From Wood River to Weldon Springs, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
All right, we got a roundtable going here on a Friday afternoon. Former State Senator John Lamping, also former legislator Ted Housen. He's a former circuit judge with us in the studio. Of course, Sue is standing by for Sue's News in the next hour. We'll talk a little sports with Cusumano and some entertainment recommendations. You know, the Spielberg movie, Disclosure Day, hits the theaters this weekend, so we'll see if he has any magic left. Do you guys, you know, there are certain things that I think should be nonpartisan issues that come up in politics. But one of the reasons I had the state auditor on, Scott Fitzpatrick, yesterday is because he did a report on the Francis Howell School District. So you have a school board in that district that hires a new superintendent more than a year ago. He never really does any work. They pay him $250,000 to go away. It was a unanimous vote. Everyone signs an NDA, so they can't tell us what happened. Some of the reporting indicates that there might have been a social media post in May of last year that they flagged. But again, we don't know. But John, that's a lot of money flying out the door. I guess the calculation is with lawyers, all right, are we going to have to pay this guy more if we start fighting this? And they felt like they had to pay him. But if I'm a taxpayer in that district and you just paid $250,000 to someone who's never even done any work, I'm pretty outraged.
Of course. And hopefully the people that made the decision, I think, is unanimous on that board. Hopefully they suffer the consequences the next time they're up for re-election.
But will that happen? I mean,
well,
you
the superintendent hire was made by the old board that was more focused on the right-wing culture war issues instead of the competent administration of the school district. We've got a new board. I think the board that we've got will learn from those, learn from that lesson. Obviously, it's a bad situation and was very unfortunate. But I think, and while I don't have any inside information, I think that the decision of the board to sign the ultimate resolution to that was simply to cut the losses and move forward.
I mean, it had to be a math equation, but still, that's a big check.
There's no excuse for it, and it's very unfortunate. But I'm confident that the new board will be forward looking. And the Francis Howell School District is a very good school district with great families, great teachers, great test scores, and all kinds of metrics that show what a great opportunity it is. We support public education because public education brings the community together. We've got to keep it from becoming partisan battles, and we need to understand that public education really is the bedrock of democracy
But
that
you seem
holds
to
our
have
communities together.
You seem to have a problem with people. You can call it the culture wars. I certainly have an issue with certain books. We have restrictions. My daughter is going to go into middle school. She can't just freely search on her, Chromebook when she goes next year to anything she wants. There's limitations that are put on kids in libraries. So what a lot of people have tried to do, and some of these books are so graphic and outrageous that when they try to read them before school boards, they shut them down because they're so graphic and obscene. So we're looking at age. You guys try to play this off as censorship. It's age-appropriate material is what we're talking about, and that gets blamed on the right wing and the culture wars and nonsense. Well, that's something that's important to a lot of parents who want to make sure that their kids aren't exposed to this stuff.
Ted, I would suggest the culture wars are largely have been lost by the right, and it begins with the indoctrination that goes on in the schools themselves. Mark's referencing, the sexual education and the types of materials that are made available to kids starting in as early as first grade, and when you go and you survey the educators themselves, both K through 12, and then certainly when you get to the university level, overwhelmingly Democrat and overwhelmingly liberal Democrat, and the indoctrination that's gone on in the school system, and the school system is a big part of why the culture is as liberal as it is. And when conservative thinking people stand up and decide to run for school board, they're not. It's not like it's a neutral school and they're trying to go and impose right-wing ideals. It's because the schools are so freaking liberal that they're trying to get elected so they can go push back against the liberal nature of what is put in front of children as early as 5 or 6 years old.
We understand that your side is more interested in Pride Month and rainbow colors and stuff like that. We happen to be more concerned with education loss through COVID and kids being behind socially because they had to wear masks and nonsense like that. So
Well,
maybe there's an area where we can kind of come together for the good of the kids. But I think having obscene material that deals with oral sex and stuff like that, if you want to buy that at Barnes and Nobles and order that for your kids, I don't think it belongs in a public, certainly elementary school or certainly middle school. Maybe you can talk about 12th graders or something like that. But it's not age appropriate. It's not material that should be in any school with these graphic novels.
Let's be clear here. I'm a Christian, and I want to make sure that we have high moral standards in our public schools. There is a significant attempt in the Republican legislature in this state to defund and undermine our public schools. And while nobody wants pornography in schools, nobody wants age inappropriate material in schools, the culture wars, and the reason I use that phrase is because that's being used as the excuse to defund and privatize public education. I think public education is vital for a strong community. A thriving community needs great public schools. We want our schools to represent the values of the people in the community, and we have to defend and protect our public schools. And when I talk about the culture wars, I'm talking about the folks who use that as an excuse to divert the money to private schools and to defund public schools. And
well, I mean, you may call school choice or other opportunities defunding public schools. But look, I know it's not. It's giving other parents who are lost and people in urban areas in particular a chance to get equal education with people who have good public schools or good private schools. But I don't even know what to say to that, because look, we do fund education. Now, I live in the Rockwood School District. We had a ballot measure last year, and I supported it. And it was a tax increase, and my daughter goes to school there, so I made a decision to support it. A lot of people who don't have kids who question the way that the money's being spent, they voted against it. It didn't pass. All right, but the districts also have a say in how much money is being sent. The legislature appropriates more money to K-12 each and every year, and they did it this year too. There's complaints about the foundation formula that have been around for decades, back to when you were in the legislature, right? But it's not like we're not sending more money to public education every year. We are.
Money's not the problem. Look, up until about 120 years ago, public schools were the experiment, not the norm. And I think for thousands of years, people were educated without public schools. And public schools now, I think it's becoming more and more clear over time that they failed, and not just in academics, but also on the cultural issues. I mean, they're very far left. And having said that, that opinion I just expressed, that's a minority opinion in the General Assembly. The General Assembly is overwhelmingly Republican that supports the public school system. And they fund the public school system when they can. And so Missouri is a situation where our public schools are perfectly funded. They're just not very good. And they're failing our families. But it is the system that we're in, and it's not going to change. And Missouri's the Republicans are going to continue to govern where there's more than enough money for the schools. The schools are very liberal, and that's not going to change.
All right, hang tight. One more segment to go. It's a Reardon Roundtable on a Friday.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Crews have been dealing with an accident this afternoon, westbound 70, really close to Cave Spring. And it started in the left lane. They've had those left lanes blocked. They've been working to get that off to the right-hand shoulder. But if you're traveling in that area, that's what's going on, and that's why you see a jam behind it. And westbound 70, by the way, only the right lane still getting by. We've got heavy traffic that's getting closer and closer to the Blanchette Bridge. Roadwork causing delays on westbound 370 as well. And then we had a report of a signal issue on Flash westbound 370 on the exit to Newtown. So just be aware. Now, westbound 64, it's slow pockets, but it's the usual. So it's Kings Highway out through McCausland, eastbound slows at Big Bend. Then you get a break and it's slow again, Highway N out through 70. And southbound 270, really just moderate volume at Gravois and at Olive. On the Illinois side, roadwork causing delays at the 64-55-70 split, and on eastbound 64 at 157. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Hey, St. Louis, this is Brian Kilmeade. You know, I always have a great time when I visit you guys, and I'm coming back this November. So join me, Brian Kilmeade, by getting tickets for the show at the factory at 971talk.com/events.
It's going to be a great night. It is the Saturday before Thanksgiving, the 21st, Saturday night at the factory. Get your tickets right now. Brian's going to be on the show a little later. He's in LA for the World Cup. He'll join us just after 5 o'clock tonight on 97.1 FM Talk. A couple of days ago, I had Matt Lawrence in from Game Day Men's Health. We had an awesome conversation about how you can take advantage of some of the things that they offer at Game Day. He has 2 clinics in the area, one in Chesterfield, one in O'Fallon, Missouri, and they're offering you the opportunity to go into the clinic. It's top-notch. It is a man cave environment. They have their own pharmacy. They have a very simplified process that's going to guide you into the help that you need. Now, maybe it's TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. Maybe it's something different, peptides, vitamins, medical weight loss. They can help you with a lot of things. But during that 1-hour visit, they take some blood work, they get results back in 20 minutes, and then come up with a plan working with the professionals at Game Day, and you move forward and you're going to feel better about yourself. We call it a men's health clinic built for every journey. It's exactly what it is. Take advantage of the great 1-hour visit. Matt and his team are amazing out in Chesterfield, and he's got the new one in O'Fallon too. GameDayMen'sHealth.com.
Looking for a smarter, safer way to invest? For a limited time, lock in a great rate with Together Credit Union's 11-month CD special. From day one, your return on investment is guaranteed. No market swings, no surprises, just a competitive fixed rate that steadily grows your deposit. Make your money work harder with a financial partner that puts you first. Visit a Together Credit Union branch near you or go online to togethercu.org to learn more. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Hey, it's Mark Cox. Take your lawn from good to great with my friends at Lawn Enforcement. I'm talking expert lawn care services to keep your lawn in order. And here's what they'll do for you. Anybody can mow your grass. At Lawn Enforcement, they want to enhance your property. They'll do the mowing and the trimming. They'll fertilize and implement a weed control program and erosion control, which includes retaining walls if you need it. They can landscape. They can design and install your flowers, your shrubs, your trees, all of your hardscapes. No project is too big or too small for my friends at Lawn Enforcement. You can check them out online at yourlawnenforcement.com. So instead of envying your neighbor's lawn, your neighbors are going to be wishing they had the lawn and landscape that you have. Go ahead and enjoy your space. Be proud when you entertain your friends and your family. They've been in business for over 30 years. Be sure and tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to yourlawnenforcement.com.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
You're listening to The Mark Reardon Show, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
A few minutes left here in the Reardon Roundtable, then we'll take you into the 4 o'clock hour. Stu will have Stu's News on this Friday. We have Paul Hall on entertainment, and then Cusumano with a preview of the sports weekend. A lot of stuff going on. NBA Finals, the Stanley Cup Finals, the Redbirds in Minnesota, and the World Cup. I don't want to underestimate. John, you're like a big soccer person. Are you into this World Cup?
I'll get into it. The U.S. starts tonight against Paraguay. Paraguay is probably the best team in their group. It's very unusual for the host country not to get out of its group. And, but to date, in its history, the U.S. has only won one game outside a group. And so we'll see. The team could entertain. It's a pretty wide open World Cup, though. There's not a big front, not a big heavy favorite. But the winner will probably come from the same 5 or 6 teams as you.
Ted, I am not a football guy. I'm an American football guy, so I don't really know much. But what I admitted is, in soccer, John, you know this because I've pitched about it for years. Soccer's not my thing. My wife played collegiate soccer, and my daughter didn't take to it, which I'm kind of glad. But look, I can also get involved behind any sporting event. I'm not the biggest NBA guy, but this series is amazing right now that I'm watching with the Knicks and the Spurs. And I don't watch hockey that much all year, but that Stanley Cup final is really, really awesome. And as a sports fan, I think I can get into the World Cup from that perspective. And I love the USA to do well, but it's harder, I think, for the American people to get behind this because the men's team has never really, had that level of success that the women's team has had.
Yeah, I'm a baseball guy. I'm more excited about what Jordan Walker's doing right
Me
now.
too.
But I'm very happy that the U.S. is hosting the World Cup, and of course the NBA finals are always exciting.
And what do you think? Let's talk about the Cardinals a little bit here, John. You took a stand for many years, and we went to games a long time ago, and then you kind of had this position like until Mo's out, I'm not going back. Now, have you been back this season yet?
I haven't been back, but I've been following the team, watching the team. I said that I wouldn't go until he's gone, and I'm just haven't been convenient to go. But no, the team's it's fun to watch. It's the youth, youngest team in the major leagues, and it's one of the lowest payrolls in the major league. If you actually took away the money that we're sending other places to like Boston,
Still paying Arenado and all that.
yeah, it's probably the lowest payroll in baseball, and so this is exciting. I grew up in the '70s. The Cardinals, once you got in the mid '70s, they weren't very good. They were around 500, but they were fun, and I became a Cardinal fan watching them, an average team. This team is obviously so far above average for now.
Yeah, that could change, but I think
it's great to watch.
But the fans are educated too. I mean, I'm not saying we're going to fall off the cliff because they keep fighting here, and I'm very impressed with some things that they continue to do offensively. And Dustin May has been really, really rock solid. But we know that it's a young team. We could get to a point, and I don't know what's going to happen. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Newbar because he's coming back on fire, right? He's a fan favorite. Do you want to trade him? I guess you get value for him, but they're going to have some decisions to make in a few weeks, right?
St. Louis baseball fans are very intelligent baseball fans. The St. Louis Cardinals are the only team in the major leagues that do not have a former All-Star on the team. No one on this team has ever been an All-Star,
right? And Jordan Walker will be.
Yes,
I think we can say that.
Jordan, I have to say too, I did take advantage of the petition-led sports betting, and I went to the boat the day of opening day, and I took the over on the Cardinals. It was 69.5 for the season.
That was smart. I think you told me
I thought that was a no-brainer, and I took the over. So happy to have done that. I think my bet's pretty safe.
Yeah, look, I think it's fun. I think we're all having fun with it at this point, and I hope that the crowds come back because we had good weekend crowds when the Cubs were here. I went to a game against the Rangers where there weren't a lot of people in there. As we ease into summer, people are busy. I think the fans will come back, and then we'll hit 105, 110 degree temperatures, and no one will go to the games because it's too damn hot. Have you gone tarps off, John? Will you go tarps off if you go to the game with me?
No,
I want you
I
to
will not
commit
go
to that.
tarps off, no.
All right. Well, we're out of time, guys. We're going to wrap it up here. Ted, great to meet you in person. I know you've been here when some other folks have been doing the Roundtable. We're glad to have you. John, it's always good to see you.
Thank you very much.
We're going to do a baseball game together soon. We'll get out, and we were going to try to play golf sometime, too, at Boone Valley. I'm playing a couple times next week. So I'm playing the Bluffs on Monday.
Nice.
I'm playing Belle Reve on Tuesday. Then I'm going to Howard County on Wednesday, Ted, to Fayette, and I'm going to do some fishing with your former high school classmate, Kevin Yeager, my dear friend. We realized that we had that connection today. So I'm just going to have a good time and be off here next
hell of
week.
a staycation.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be good. All right. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. We're going to take a little break here at the top of the hour, Fox News. After that, I'll have a few things. I got some audio and stuff that we haven't gotten to here this afternoon. Sue, I don't know if you followed, because even when we were on the air yesterday, when we were wrapping up the show, remember that image that came up on Fox 2 up by, I think it was Peoria, Illinois? They got some really, really bad storms, and they had to do some rescues. So that was rather daunting. And then you heard about Six Flags, right?
Yes.
Okay, I want to talk about that. That's coming up as well.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads, I'll tell you what, first of all, there is a jam on the Illinois side, northbound 5570, and it's kind of between 255 and a point past 157. Also on the Illinois side, eastbound 64, heavy at 255, eastbound 70 slow at 5564, and some slow-moving traffic eastbound 5564 at 70. Now, a major jam on westbound 70. This was caused by an earlier accident really near Cave Springs, and they had the left lane blocked for a long time. Well, it's still blocked, and it's the two left lanes. So expect a jam really close to the Blanchette Bridge. Southbound 270 slowing at Olive, and westbound 40 lines up approaching Hampton. Then it's slow again, Highway N out through 70. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I mentioned earlier Brian Kilmeade, who usually joins us on a Wednesday or Thursday. He was traveling yesterday because he went out to L.A. and he is there for the soccer game. Brian, a huge football fan, so we'll get his preview of the World Cup. We'll talk a little politics with him after 5 o'clock as well. And then Ed Wheatley's coming in. He has a brand new book out called The Finest in the Field, The History of Baseball, through 50 iconic gloves Sue did a podcast with him. We're going to talk to him at 5:30.
Brought to you by USPS Ground Advantage.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast.
Pump up the volume.
When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Fry, and Mark Reardon, along with Bob and Tammy Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group, to learn how to create your worry-free retirement. We'll meet June 16th at the Doubletree Hotel in Chesterfield at 6:30. Here are Bob and Tammy with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering how to turn your 401k and IRA into a worry-free retirement? Would you like to learn the strategies that give you market growth but protects you from market losses at the same time?
Would you like to get a free personalized retirement income plan? And did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to create a worry-free retirement. If you're 59 and a half or older, you cannot afford to miss this event.
Have a worry-free retirement. Join the official financial advisors of my show, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, at the Doubletree Hotel in Chesterfield, Tuesday, June 16th at 6:30. Go to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
When you enter a place of business, you're owed a legal duty that the place of business is safe for you to shop in. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you suffered an injury in a place of business, our duty is to protect you after that harm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Don't miss the hot tub and swim spa blowout sale this weekend at the St. Charles Convention Center. Over 25 American-made units on display. Immediate delivery and financing available. For more info, call 1-800-SPA-SALE.
When it comes to finding something on the menu that everyone likes at a place, sometimes it can be difficult, but not at Ucraft Brunch Cafe. Ucraft Brunch Cafe, they make their salad dressings. They're in-house. They have sandwiches, bowls, wraps, healthy options, unhealthy options, if that's what you're feeling. They have literally something for everyone, and it's better than you even think it's going to be. You see it, you hear it, and you got to try it for yourself. Ucraft Brunch Cafe, 2 locations. Check them out online at ucraftbrunchcafe.com.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou a 50 to 60-year-old not so perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds. You're overweight. Winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you got to call Big Lou because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds too. Get a quote right now at 800-777-1979, 800-777-1979, or biglou.com.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hey, a very interesting roster move for the Cardinals that just happened. They sent down Nolan Gorman and last night pitcher Hunter Dobbins, but Blaze Jordan from Memphis coming up. Frank Cusumano with details in an hour.
KFTK FM Florida from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
Elon Musk could give everyone in the world $100 and have $270 billion left over. I'm Chris Foster of Fox News. He's the world's first trillionaire today as somebody SpaceX stock went on sale in its initial public offering, the richest ever. Closed at $161 a share, 90% gain so far. Musk says he gave the company a less than 10% chance of succeeding at all at first.
I told people this. I said, look, we're probably going to fail, but we should give it a try, because if we don't, if there's not a new company that enters space, we will never be a truly spacefaring civilization.
Musk addressing the NASDAQ stock exchange this morning. The NASDAQ overall closed up about 0.3% today. The Dow up 0.7, 253 points. The S&P is up 0.5%. Mass shooter who barricaded himself in an abandoned veterinary clinic in Midland, Texas today was accused of trying to kill a police officer 2 days ago. Fox's Kristen Goodwin.
The Texas Department of Public Safety revealing the suspect who was killed after opening fire on officers and bystanders in downtown Midland was wanted for the attempted murder of a peace officer during a vehicle pursuit in the city earlier this week.
The identity of the suspect, Mr. Alpha Villarreal, 845.
Sergeant Stephen Blanco. Officials say one victim was killed, 10 others were injured.
Non-law enforcement. Midland Memorial Hospital says 4 people underwent surgery there, and 5 people have been treated and released. The government's warrantless foreign surveillance program expires tonight at midnight Eastern.
The House and then the Senate rejected an extension of FISA 702, while Democrats and some Republicans have demanded reforms, including requiring a warrant to obtain American information revealed by the surveillance. Democrats then rejected an extension over the president's selection of his federal housing finance director, Bill Pulte, as temporary director of national intelligence.
Fox Jessica Rosenthal. Congress is on recess until June 23rd. It's unclear how the expiration will affect investigations. Pakistan's prime minister says a final agreed-upon text of the U.S.-Iran peace deal has been reached, and Pakistan is working closely with both sides to finalize the next steps. America, let's take the Fox News.
You've got to try the new TikTok diet. Just ask Jack. I just take blue green algae.
You just have to eat kale. Kale.
I know you should put butter in your coffee.
Or you could trust your gut. When it comes to your energy, digestion, and overall health, how do you know what's actually right for you? That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple at-home gut health test that looks at your body's real-time biology using RNA to show what's going on inside you right now. Not trends, not guesses, your biology. With your results, Viome gives you clear, personalized, actionable guidance. Which foods help you, which ones don't, and which supplements your body actually can benefit from. All based on the world's largest gut health databases and thousands of clinical research studies. Many people who use Viome report better digestion, more energy, and an improved mood within months. So stop guessing. Start knowing.
And maybe still eat the kale?
Maybe. Learn more at viome.com/know. V as in Victor, IOME.com/KNOW. And use coupon code VIOME50 to save $50 off your purchase.
And keep everything blue.
Nothing.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
The northwest low doing its nice thing. Mostly clear skies this evening, dropping through the 70s, 66 for the low. On Saturday, partly sunny, a little warmer, 86. We're ahead of the next cool front. There will be some scattered showers and a couple of thunderstorms around Saturday. Saturday night, scattered showers and some storms will bring heavy downpours of rain, some flash flooding, and lightning. 66. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Kind of going over a little bit of news here that was breaking from the Cardinals at the top of the hour. And man, you got to see that Chaim Bloom is not afraid to make some moves, right? They sent Nolan Gorman to Memphis today. I don't know that that was completely anticipated. And there's a guy named Blaze Jordan that we got in the Steven Matz deal, I think.
Right.
Fred from the Red Sox. And my understanding is the Red Sox fans really like this kid. And we'll see what happens here. So he's played 262 career games at third base, 228 at first base. He's going to play third base tonight. He's in the lineup batting, I think, second to last. So I don't know much about that kid. Do you?
No, but everybody in Boston loved him.
Right-hander Chris Roycroft has also been recalled from Memphis. So Gorman and Hunter Dobbins optioned to Memphis, and I guess they put Ramon Urias on the 10-day injured list to the 60-day injured list.
You feel sorry for Nolan Gorman. I mean, the last 50 at-bats, he's had maybe 3 hits.
I know, but
and half of his at-bats were strikeouts.
Let's face it, we've waited. We've been patient with Nolan Gorman. There comes a time where you the same thing with Victor Scott, right? You have to do something, and I'm glad that you're just not going to wait the whole season. And who knows what you're going to see from Blaze, and maybe he heats up again down in Memphis with less pressure. You just don't know, right?
Keep in mind, a couple of years ago, didn't they keep doing that with Walker?
Yeah, well,
he was to get everything.
The problem with that is like he was young. Like Gorman's at the point now where he should have settled in and been who we thought he was going to be, and he's only had flashes of that, right? So I think that's part of the problem. All right, a couple things before we get to Stu's news here. When I mentioned this, we were wrapping yesterday. The severe weather was quite a ways away from St. Louis proper, but up to the north, certainly there was this huge line. If you looked at the radar, that went north to the northeast, all the way up through the middle of the country, and it went up into northern Illinois and I guess northwestern Illinois and Indiana. And there was a huge tornado. I mean, Fred, I don't know if you saw the picture. First of all, the damage it's like a mini Springfield. Where this neighborhood has just been completely, devastated. But the video that I saw of the tornado, it was a monster funnel cloud. And you have these tornado chasers that go out there, and this one guy goes out there and he finds a guy that's basically trapped by his house.
Oh my God, are you okay?
I think I got a broken leg.
You got a broken leg?
I think so.
This piece here?
This one here. If we can get this, I might be able to.
Yeah, here, you want to hold this?
He's like digging him out.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, let's get in there. Excuse me. Hi.
He's a news reporter. He just come out and he was come over to help.
One second. All right, I'll let you.
Don't move.
Yeah, so he's just trying to help it.
Let me explain what happened in that video.
Yeah.
The storm chaser had finished chasing the storm and then went into the neighborhood to shoot some video, and he saw this man underneath the remains of his house, and he had this huge door that was on him in addition to everything else.
Oh, geez.
So he came over and he handed his camera to the man's wife.
Yeah.
And then he started lifting the door off to help. And then the police showed up like instantly after that. And so the reporter's like, hey, I'll let you guys take over. And so then they got him out safely. It's a pretty scary story. And he tells the story of what happened.
Yeah, here's a little bit more.
I am a storm chaser / video journalist, and I was able to get pretty close to this tornado. I would estimate it at least an EF2, in my opinion. It was very dramatic looking. I was just hoping that it was just over fields instead of any populated areas, but that was not the case. And after I was done filming the actual tornado, I wound up in South Streeter, just videotaping some of the damage, and a lady, maybe about 100 yards away, started screaming for help. And I'm like, and I ran over there, and she goes, her husband is stuck underneath the rubble in their leveled house. So I give her the camera, and I'm like, oh my God, and I tried to help lift the heavy door off the man's leg, and then the police showed up. And they were able to complete the rescue. So, yeah, very crazy stuff.
Wow. And then, what you heard first was the audio of when, he first came upon them.
I did, but I wasn't going to get into a conversation. I was feeling bad for his, state of being. And it looks like he's going to be okay, but I did see a lot of blood, and I think he definitely did suffer some broken limbs.
Yeah, I think the question specifically was, did you talk to the guy? And he goes, not a lot. He was just trying to get him to safety, right? That was basically one of the goals there. And then you guys must have covered this on the morning show, but the whole Six Flags story. Do you know what happened? I have some audio here from the fire chief of Eureka.
Well, the family of 4 got caught up there. Is that right, Fred?
Yeah, right.
And it happened at like 5:30 at night, and it's one of those chairs dangling from wires. So, you're up about 120 feet off the ground.
It's called a sky screamer.
Yeah. It doesn't sound good just to begin with, right? I don't know if I like the sound of that, but here you go.
We were notified by Six Flags of 4 guests that were stuck on the top of the ride. The park typically is able to, they have countermeasures and the lights in place. They had tried those. They then initiated their emergency response, which is through us and our mutual aid partners. We responded and have subsequently brought all 4 of the guests safely down to the ground. We used Plan A, which was the crane, and we had Plan B already rigged up top, and we were working on Plan C because we wanted to make sure that they were down before this weather hit.
Well, did they say?
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, the weather was coming in. So what was Plan C? I should
Good luck to you.
Right? Blow up a big balloon underneath and have them jump or something like that. Hear a little bit more.
You don't see this. You don't see a high angle. You don't see a tower rescue very often anywhere in the county. We actually practiced this rescue not too long ago with with personnel actually lowering people down with ropes and everything. So after the crane was used, our secondary plan was we always want to have Plan A, Plan B, Plan C. We actually set up the rope system just as well because we have that weather coming in. So if there was anything that did not work, or there was an issue with the crane, or we couldn't reach with the crane, we were already working on a second plan. But they were brought to the ground by the crane that Six Flags contracts with. 2 Eureka Fire personnel went up in the basket and then removed the guests from the swings up top, and then brought them down 2 at a time.
So you know who that was? Was that
Yeah,
Scott?
that was Scott Barthelmess.
Barthelmess. He's the fire chief, right? He's really good.
He is really good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And in addition to that, even before they got there, Six Flags had someone, one of the workers that walked up the ladder or crawled up the ladder that goes straight up. And it was like 130 feet, I guess. So that's 13 stories. That's pretty.
Yeah.
And they went up and just talked to the people and assured them, hey, we're going to do something, try and stay calm.
Okay, now I'm sure the people who are in those seats, the family of 4, by the way, they said they were really cool and calm and they were great, were okay with heights. But I could see myself getting on a ride like that because I think, it's 2 minutes.
Right.
But I would not be thrilled to be sitting there for 2 hours. I think that would really freak me out, and to get into a crane. So good for everybody involved for getting that done.
Why do I feel like when you say the family was all good with and everything, that by this time, a personal injury attorney has talked to them about PTSD and a lawsuit against Six Flags, right?
Well, maybe, but you know what I mean? Like, I could see somebody going, I can handle that for 2 minutes, and then you're stuck for 2 hours. Woo!
Being up that high, they probably had a good view of the storm that was coming in.
I didn't think about that.
They probably did.
Yeah.
I
bet the lightning was there.
Ooh, that
would
may have been the more daunting aspect of it. And then this is just, I can't believe I'm about to tell people this. I really can't. This is in Boston, and apparently they're still searching for 2 boys who flashed a handgun at a pair of kids that were simply doing a lemonade stand in Boston, and they stole about $50 from this pink lockbox. Yeah, this is at 4:45. What's today's date? Today's the 12th.
Today's the 12th.
So this was yesterday at 4:45 in South Boston. Apparently, it's very common there. I did it as a kid. I think we all did. My daughters did lemonade stands in the summer. They they describe it in the New York Times article as, it's common for kids to set this up as their first taste of the American dream. And it kind of is, a way you make a little money. You see how things work in the economy. It's a very simple way to do that. So listen to the mom here and what she says. It's awful.
I was at work and my daughter called me hysterically crying and saying someone just came up with a gun and stole all of our money because 2 innocent little kids just trying to make some slush money and they have to be feared for their life. It's horrific. It's horrific. I have no other words.
So I heard $50, and then I have an aunt says $80 was taken, which is, a fair amount. Here's the dad here. I thought the dad handled this very well.
They're definitely shaken up. It's just kids being kids, right? They're having a lemonade stand on the corner. You really don't expect anything like that ever to happen. So something like this was definitely very traumatizing for them. But it's also it's basically triumph over tragedy, which is kind of what we're spending with the kids on this, and just trying to talk them through it and understand that there are bad people in this world, but there's also great people in the community as well.
My mom and dad said that those kids would be out there today. I bet they're having their stand going. They're not going to back down. They had the stand again today. What happened is these kids made several passes by. 2 boys, they have surveillance video. They're trying to find him right now. They had asked at one point if the lemonade stand accepted Apple Pay. I guess they weren't satisfied with that answer. The images that they have are not great, but there's a video where you see these 2 kids, and one of them is masked. I don't know if they're both masked, but one's a little taller than the other, and you kind of see them walking away. It's hard for me to believe that someone in the neighborhood might not know who that is. By the way, it's like watching, when you see that neighborhood, and when I click on that video, it's like watching a Matt Damon and Ben Affleck film. South Boston, right?
It's what's the estimated age of the boys?
That's a good question.
11 and 14.
The kids that robbed him?
Yeah.
Oh, Fred.
Well, that makes sense because the one kid's pretty small, right?
Yeah.
And they flashed a handgun.
Right.
Nice.
Great.
I hope they find the kids. But again, even if they find them, social workers got to get involved, right? That's what will happen. They won't be punished.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
There is an accident now southbound 170 south of Olive. I just put it up on X at Susan6768. You'll see that the left lanes are blocked and traffic is jammed back through Page. Now, if you're westbound on 70, there's some slow pockets really from Jennings Station Road out through Wentzville, but they cleared the accident near Cave Springs. Westbound 370 is slowing at 141. We've got 64 with mainly moderate volume, but it's Hampton through the Inner Belt and then Highway N out through 70. Southbound 270, just some moderate volume, a little bit at Ladue Road. And then as you head down toward Gravois, we've got a report of an accident there causing a delay. 55 slows approaching Highway M down through Z. And volume on the Illinois side, especially at 55, 70, 64, just right there at their split. And eastbound 70 approaching 157. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
She's back in just 3 minutes. A Friday edition of Sue's News on the way.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Honey, I found the one.
Oh, I thought I was the one.
Oh, you are, but this one's certified, background check, shows up on time, and can install all the ceiling fans.
Heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing. Trusted pros who do it right.
It's motorcycle season in St. Louis. Time to ride. When the road gets rough and you're injured in an accident, you need someone who's got your back. You need Kaufman Townsend. We're local, we know St. Louis, and we don't settle unless it's what's best for you. When it's not, we go to trial, and we bring decades of experience with us. Kaufman Townsend, real people, real results. Call 314-777-7777. That's 314-777-7777.
It's not your typical game day look. Sunday, June 28th at Busch Stadium, the Cardinals face the Miami Marlins, and fans can receive a soccer-style Cardinals jersey presented by Purina. Clean, sporty, and unmistakably Cardinals, it brings a fresh energy to the ballpark from first pitch on, and kids take home a vibrant Cardinals soccer ball to keep the action going long after the final out. 2 ways to play, one big Sunday. Get tickets at cardinals.com/promotions.
Every Sunday home game is a kids' Sunday at Busch Stadium. From team-prep birding games to a kid-friendly DJ, ice cream, and family-favorite activities, Sundays are built for young fans. Plus, select Sundays feature kids on the bases after the game. It's a day made for smiles, memories, and Cardinals baseball together. Make Sundays your family tradition at Busch Stadium. Tickets and details at cardinals.com/kidssunday.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
What's up, y'all? It's Draymond. On my podcast, The Draymond Green Show, I'm calling it exactly how I see it, with my real opinions on the league, the games, and the business of basketball. And with the NBA Finals here, you already know I'm breaking down every game, every adjustment, and every big moment as it happens. When Victor Wembanyama's in the paint, the Knicks, they gotta be feeling it. If you love basketball, this is where the conversation happens. Listen to and follow the Draymond Green Show wherever you get your podcast.
You're listening to the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
These allegations are deeply concerning.
Does the president have any comment?
We're not going to comment. It's not clear messaging.
And now, Sue's News. Brought to you by Sue.
Well, on this day in history, it was 87 years ago, Fred, in 1939, and the Baseball Hall of Fame opened in Cooperstown.
Love it.
80. Have you gone, Mark? Have you been to the baseball?
I really want to go there to Saratoga Racetrack like at the same time. They're not exactly right next to one another, but it would be a nice New York trip.
You,
I'd
Fred?
get a New York state of mind.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay. Well, this is where legend has it. Baseball had been invented by, of course, well, Abner Doubleday. It all happened exactly 100 years earlier. And the first players inducted into the Hall of Fame, Babe Ruth, Ty Cobb, and Honus Wagner. On this day in history, okay, nothing could possibly beat Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But I remember sitting in the theater in 1981 for the first Indiana Jones movie,
Oh, yeah.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. 45 years ago.
That was a
You
great
guys-
movie.
It was great.
so good. And I looked for pieces, but most of it is like, when he's weighing the sand versus taking
like
the idol, there's
audio.
nothing there.
Yeah, sound
And when
effects.
he shoots the guy with the knife, that doesn't, it's not.
Now, that's been one. So I wonder if that would be one to go back and watch with Alexa.
I think it would.
Like the first one in particular.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That thing is so good. And then 35 years ago today, it was 1991 when Michael Jordan's Chicago Bulls won their first NBA championship. 35 years ago. They beat the Lakers in 4-1. Not too shabby. And happy National Peanut Butter Cookie Day, Fred. You up
Oh,
with
yeah.
that?
No, I like peanut butter cookies.
Mark,
Yeah, absolutely.
I bought some dog cookies the other day, that are peanut butter at Pet Supplies.
Yeah.
And they smell and look like real peanut butter cookies.
I have peanut butter biscuits too, but those don't smell as much like peanut butter, I don't think.
I might. And I
You know
looked
what
at the
brand is?
ingredients. Well, yeah, it's the Three Dog Bakery
Okay,
makes
no,
them.
that's the ones I get.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm gonna try just a nibble to see. It's
I
also,
would pay money to see that. Will you get it on video, please?
It's also National Red Rose Day, National Movie Night, and National Jerky Day, which is not your behavior; it is the actual meat.
Oh, that's
Just,
too bad.
letting you
I was
know.
getting excited there for a moment.
I'm not sure how you celebrate, but you could.
Isn't every weekend National Movie Night? Come on, right?
Yeah, what are you going to watch? I really think I would like to hear if she likes Raiders of the Lost Ark, although I'm sure that the effects are not nearly what they are now,
I'm gonna put that
45
on my
years
list,
ago.
though. Yeah, but you know what? That would be a good one to watch.
Do you remember seeing that in the theater?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I saw it multiple times.
Had to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
And then Romancing the Stone. Wasn't that kind of like in the, the Lesser with Michael?
yes,
I like that movie,
Douglas.
though, too. That was Kathleen
Yeah,
Turner.
I like
yeah,
this
yeah.
one.
I didn't watch that until much later. I don't know why. Well, they're trying to clean up LA because the Olympics are coming there in 2028. The Ocean Cleanup Organization is working to remove trash from rivers in LA ahead of the Olympics. And the technology is from the guy who's trying to tackle the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, which is essentially what they're calling this. But it's a new device called the Interceptor, and it collects waste flowing through waterways. And it's already removed hundreds of tons of debris from something near Marina del Rey, Bologna Creek. And officials are now expanding the system to the St. Gabriel River and to handle even larger amounts of trash. Why do people throw stuff in the?
It's disgusting.
I hate it.
I
But
was behind a woman today that threw something right out of her window, and I don't think it was a cigarette. And even if it was a cigarette, why do you have to throw it out of your window?
why do
Right?
you?
Yeah, I
You
don't know.
don't.
No,
That's
you don't.
the answer.
The answer is you don't. Right.
Okay, a little bit of music here because Carly Simon, who is 82, is releasing her first album of original songs in 8 years.
So this is one of the new
Yep.
ones?
So get it out of yourself.
Well, in fairness to Carly Simon, haven't heard about her for a while, so it doesn't surprise me
Right?
she hasn't put anything out in a while, right?
Here's the chorus.
I like that.
Yeah.
Got all right.
Sounds better than James Taylor.
Oh, really? Does he sound terrible?
Didn't we hear him? It's his latest.
Ooh, I don't know.
Oh.
I might not have
Something
heard that.
that's been a week.
Okay. I don't know if I know that with James Taylor.
I may be wrong on James Taylor, but it was an older artist who put something out. It's like, ooh,
Oh, wow.
this is really good. I like this.
We
Yeah,
talked about. We talked about McCartney just on Saturday Night Live, but I think the record sounds good.
Yeah, the record
He
sounds
wasn't
good.
hitting the notes on Saturday Night Live. That's what I understand.
It's
There you go.
pretty
Is this a whole
impressive.
new album? Or is
Yeah,
this a song?
yeah. Whole
There you
new
go.
album. All right, in science news, a new study shows that octopuses can use mirrors to locate food that's out of their direct view.
I don't even know if I could do that.
I couldn't do
Fred,
it.
I couldn't. This demonstrates advanced spatial awareness. Octopuses are so smart.
Yeah, they're
If
supposed to
you
be.
have not watched My Octopus Teacher, you are missing
And
out.
you know what? I never did watch that. That's
Oh.
on Netflix, right?
Yes, you have got to watch it. I think it's Netflix. I can't remember now. This had only previously been seen in mammals and birds. And this means that octopuses may develop internal maps of their environment like humans do. Isn't that
Wow, that is
incredible?
interesting. Wow.
Okay.
It's not octopi.
No, I looked it up. They said, I guess most people, common usage is this, because it's based on a Greek term that is not octopi plural.
Yeah.
Ugh, I actually went down that road.
Good though.
Researchers have discovered that fire tornadoes could be a faster and cleaner way to eliminate oil spills. They're also called fire whirls, and they burn oil up to 40% faster and reduce soot emissions by about 40%. Now, the technique works by pulling in a lot more oxygen to create a more efficient burn, and the result is it leaves less residue behind, which is always a problem. And then we have to see the Dawn commercial with the dog.
Yeah, that's
which
right.
I don't
want to see
heartbreaking.
that.
Scientists,
we haven't really had there's spills, but man, remember back in the day?
oh
we used to be
my
like
gosh,
huge
yes. Scientists say the approach could eventually help protect coastlines during major spills, which would actually be really good. All right, a Southern California woman in her 80s was cleaning out her garage like you do. When she opened the freezer, an old freezer, and found 20 sticks of live dynamite. Ooh. She had no idea where they were from. So she called police. They took it seriously. The bomb squad showed up. And there's video of, from the helicopter because they were clearing out the whole neighborhood. She said that the freezer had been there for decades. She assumed they belonged to her husband. But since he passed away in 2014, she could not ask him about it. And they were there. They did not detonate. They were taken to a secure location. However, officials say that if all 20 sticks had exploded, the blast could have potentially leveled the area and caused significant damage.
But she doesn't know why he had it or anything?
No.
That's interesting. Wouldn't that kind of haunt you?
I would have questions.
Yes,
Yes.
I guess dynamite doesn't go bad.
I guess not. I didn't know that either. And finally, well, let me just do my good news story. A couple, you guys, this is so cute. A couple in British Columbia were reunited with their missing dog 4 days after a serious car crash. And they had the community out looking, here's what the dog looks like. Let's spread out throughout the area. Volunteers, search, rescue teams, locals help search everywhere. Eventually, somebody said, well, let's go back to the accident. And that's where he was. The dog was sitting on the passenger seat of the wrecked car.
You've got to be kidding me.
Just waiting.
4 days?
My goodness.
Wow. Yep. And that's the happy
Thank
story.
God it was British Columbia where it wasn't 150 degrees,
Ding,
right?
ding, ding. And finally, in Sue's News, we have today's random fact. We are born with only two natural fears, the fear of falling and the fear of loud sounds. All other fears and phobias are learned or acquired later in life.
Very interesting random fact. Thank you, Sue. Paul Hall with entertainment coming up. We'll take you out here with Carly Simon.
I'm Dan Looney with Your Money Now. Meta has begun its separation from Chinese firm Manus. The $2 billion deal was shut down after regulators in that country put into action China's Foreign Investment Security Review. From an operational perspective, the split is already complete, with Meta employees not using Manus products and a block of Manus access to Meta's internal data systems in place. Consumer sentiment improved slightly last month. The University of Michigan report showed an increase from 44.8 in April to 48.9 in May. The increase is primarily tied to the decline in gas prices. Day 2 of the World Cup will see the U.S. play Paraguay at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. But the bigger financial question is whether or not cities and states will turn a profit from the event. Many still don't know right now, but states like New Jersey, Massachusetts, and California are concerned about mounting costs. Wall Street stocks higher across the board. The Dow Industrial average up 300 points. That's Your Money Now.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge. What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
I don't have a truck. I like trucks. I like cool trucks. At Mastercars Inc. right now, they have this awesome truck up there. It's a Chevy Silverado 1500 Limited RST Rough Country Edition. What they say here is, that sounds serious, doesn't it? Not just Rough Country lift, but an actual Rough Country edition. Full Rough Country conversion, Rough Country lifted, Rough Country suspension, Rough Country appearance package, Rough Country gauges. I have no idea what any of this means, but it looks really cool. And the wheel set on this truck is awesome. It's very, very aggressive looking. So they have cars like that on the lot right now. They're the Corvette Kings at Mastercars Inc. They can, find great Harleys, but they can also locate and source a vehicle for you, like my producer, Dave Klein, producer emeritus, we call him. He needed a Chevy Suburban. He went right to Alex and Gary. They found one in the region. They got it shipped here to St. Louis. Dave and his family are now driving around in that beautiful Suburban right now. And it's used. It's got some miles on it, but it didn't cost them as much as new, and it's be in great shape and dependable because that's what they do at Mastercars Inc. So get with them today. They're in Granite City. Tell them that I sent you along. They're closed on Sunday, but they're open every other day of the week. MastercarsInc.com.
You've got to try the new TikTok diet. Just ask. Yeah, I just take blue green algae.
You just have to eat kale. Kale.
I read you should put butter in your coffee.
Or you could trust your gut. When it comes to your energy, digestion, and overall health, how do you know what's actually right for you? That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple at-home gut health test that looks at your body's real-time biology using RNA to show what's going on inside you right now. Not trends, not guesses, your biology. With your results, Viome gives you clear, personalized, actionable guidance. Which foods help you, which ones don't, and which supplements your body actually can benefit from. All based on the world's largest gut health databases and thousands of clinical research studies. Many people who use Viome report better digestion, more energy, and an improved mood within months. So stop guessing. Start knowing.
And maybe still eat the kale?
Maybe. Learn more at viome.com/know. V as in Victor, IONE.com/KNOW. And use coupon code VIOME50 to save $50 off your purchase.
And eat everything blue.
No thank you.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
4:33. This portion of the show on a Friday is sponsored by Jerry Kelly, heating, air conditioning, electrical, and plumbing.
Built in the heartland for the heartland. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Well, we all kind of grew up in this room with really, really good blockbuster Steven Spielberg movies. Does he still have it? Does he still have it in him? Disclosure Day opens this weekend.
What did you steal?
Secrets. The data they paid me to protect.
Are they people?
I think that would sound really good in an IMAX theater.
Wow.
Audio like that. Paul Hall from Common Guy Films. Disclosure Day. Have you seen it?
Today is Disclosure Day, Mark, and I don't know where do you guys come down on aliens?
Sue's very anti-alien. I'm pro-alien, and Fred, I think,
And
is
I'm open.
pro-alien. Yeah, we're open. Right. Sue rules it out completely.
Well, I used to think the universe is so huge that it won't be surprising if something shows up. I just don't happen to think they're on Earth. You know what
Well,
I'm
that's
saying?
fair enough. Yeah. They may have looked at us and passed us by and said, no way are we messing with those guys, right?
I don't know that they're out there floating around. That's just what I'm
All
saying.
Have you looked closely into Mark's eyes lately?
It's not a bad
All right.
point.
His
either.
behavior has not changed.
Disclosure Day is Spielberg, as you said, his new one. Obviously, you get a Spielberg movie, Aliens, middle of the summer. This is on the blockbuster list for the year. And the good news is, for the most part, this one delivers from start to finish. It is a movie that 2.5 hours long. Mark, we know 2.5 hour movies feel kind of for us from time to time, usually. I found myself riveted for 2.5 hours of seeing what happens. Now, I was a little let down by the end when it does roll around, but quite frankly, in and around Kansas City, a lot of this takes place, as Emily Blunt is a news forecaster. I wouldn't call her a meteorologist because, well, she's just a news reader, more or less, and you'll see that early on. Instead, she delivers a message that's all parts creepy, and only one man out there, Dr. Daniel Kellner, played by Josh O'Connor, understands it verbatim. And they're trying to stop him from releasing all the data on those aliens that are walking among us and maybe be held somewhere else on the earth. Coleman Domingo is here as well, Wyatt Russell. This is a really cool cast. It's a really cool summer blockbuster film that reminds you Spielberg already told us aliens were real. Remember E.T.? Come on.
It's PG-13.
That's a good point.
What about for the 11-year-old? What would you think?
I think the only thing you have to worry about is them staying engaged, because there's a lot of this is about conspiracy, about the action behind the conspiracy. And
Yeah, that might be too much.
That's not necessarily engaging. In fact, I asked my wife and I saw it together, and we both kind of agree. There's that point where this is going to be for the adults in the room who want an intriguing thriller type of thing that they can follow along with, and can get invested in, and some of the younger generation maybe not there yet. So
I might avoid that. It sounds a little dark. I mean, it's probably a little scary too, right?
absolutely,
Yeah,
at times there are moments here that will get you scared just because of the things that go on throughout the course of the movie. That said, those of us who are over the age of 30, 25 are going to be really enjoying it. Colin Firth, I mean, he's the bad guy here, and you just definitely want to see him get taken out as Noah Scanlon, this shadowy government or pseudo-government organization. See the movie to find out what that's all about.
Right. There you go. I think it's running 85% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. That's a pretty good critic score. 75% of the audience. That's interesting that the audience score is a little lower on that, but that's the big opening of the weekend. What else you got, Paul?
Well, it's a totally soft weekend. Let me give you a new documentary series over on Netflix, because it seems like they deliver. It's not a series; it's a single one-off movie. It's about an hour and a half long. It's a story I didn't know about, which a lot of these pull from things that are obviously front-page news that some of us don't remember. A Texas state trooper just pulls a woman over in the beginning of this, and she's got a baby in her hands, bloodied, umbilical cord still attached. She says she just gave birth. He rushes her to the hospital, and then we get the backstory and how it came to be, and you will get mad at some people, and that's a good thing to get mad at some people in this case. But it's about more than just this, and some of the afterthoughts that come in the very end of this tell a bigger story. I found myself invested in this, wanting to wonder how someone can tell a lot of lies and get away with it, how they can kind of get away with things that seem obvious. But you know what? Love does some weird things. And if you care for someone, or if you're invested in someone, sometimes you let things go that you should have seen. Maternal Instinct on Netflix is a quick hour and a half watch, and it's intriguing for the better part of that hour and a half.
So let me ask you, and you may have talked about these in weeks past. There's 3 Apple TV Plus shows that I'm watching right now, and I'm not totally into any of them, but I wanted your opinion. So I watched one episode of Widow's Bay, and that was okay. But I'm hearing that people really kind of like the rest of the season. Star City is this alternate universe. This is kind of tough because it's in the alternative universe where the U.S. did not win World War II. Essentially, isn't that what it is? In Star
the Soviets are ahead in the space.
Oh, that's it. It's the
basically.
space race. Okay, I'm confused.
Yeah.
So this is a Soviet perspective. These shows are so confusing. And they are getting to the moon, and they put the first woman on the moon, and they do it before us. Even though it's that alternative history, it's an intriguing show, and I'm sticking with it. I've watched 2 episodes, and then Cape Fear. Let me just say this about Cape Fear. I thought the first episode was amazing. I loved it. The second episode, I didn't love as much, and I'm hearing from some folks that it kind of tails throughout the rest of the season. How many episodes of that have you watched, Paul? Do you know?
I've been through all but the last one or two.
Does it tail off or not?
There are moments up and down in it. You will not, and not everything's going to be out of this world. However, I think it's worth sticking with. It's one of those things that the talent there makes it very interesting throughout the season. So I enjoyed the heck out of it, and I binged through it. I fortunately had access to things that you guys don't yet as viewers through Apple TV Plus. I
I'm going
wish
to
they
stick
would
with
release
it.
this one.
I'm going to stick with it. And I did like, by the way, I don't think we've talked because it took me until Sunday to watch the finale
Yeah.
of Your Friends and Neighbors. I think they did a great job. I mean, I love that show in the first season. It's tough on sophomore seasons. James Marsden was fantastic. I thought the end was appropriate. The penultimate episode, the second to the last, was the best. That usually is what happens. But they wrapped it satisfactorily in a way to get it into season 3. I just think John Hammond's the best stuff that he's done since Mad Men. I really, really love him in this. Anything else you want to mention? I think the best, by the way, entertainment this weekend, Fred, you might agree with this, the Stanley Cup Finals and the NBA Championship is really the sports and then the World Cup. You throw that in some baseball. So if you want some entertainment in that particular area this weekend, I think there's ample amounts of sports that you can watch.
Yeah, I'm definitely in with you on all of those. There's a couple big streaming events going on this weekend on your streamers. One being that big venue on the White House lawn.
Yeah, the UFC fight, right?
Fight is going to be Sunday night on Paramount Plus. So for those of you who have Paramount Plus, tune in. It's an event. Definitely, I know there's a lot of St. Louis area fans for the UFC with Joaquin Buckley and some of the others from the area there. So definitely tune in and watch that.
But let me stop you there just because the whole setup for that thing, if you haven't seen it, Stu, you went and looked at the pictures yesterday.
Yeah.
It looks so cool. So I'm just intrigued.
It's impressive
from the way it looks in front of the White House, the way they're going to kind of do it up. So that's, you said Paramount Plus. Okay.
That's
Sunday
Paramount
night.
Plus. You'll get to see that start to finish. You, as long as you're a member, you get it as part of your package.
Okay.
Disney Plus and Hulu, Mark, you're a big music fan. Bonnaroo is this weekend, and you can see Bonnaroo. A lot of the acts perform live on those streaming services tonight, tomorrow night, and Sunday night. So check out those to see if your favorite band is going to be playing during the time.
That's kind of fun.
These concerts like that.
They do it with Coachella too, and for me, it's always fun to see some of the crowd that hasn't, showered in 4 or 5 days as well at music festivals. You can kind of smell them through the TV. Paul, tell folks where they can find your reviews.
SimpleCommonGuy.com.
We'll talk next week.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Westbound 70 looks good out of downtown. Eastbound a little slow right there at 270. Westbound slowing again approaching K, but this is just moderate volume. And out at Wentzville, 64 has moderate volume too, but that's mainly from Hampton out through McCausland. And then again, west of Winghaven out through 70. And southbound 270, it's mainly moderate volume in pockets, but it's olive down through Gravois. 55 looks pretty good. And we are bunched up on the Illinois side, 5570 at 64, and then eastbound 64 jams at 255. This report is brought to you by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Listen, call them. They've got a 26-point inspection that actually includes, it's just one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. So you can schedule online at overheaddoorstlewis.com. The genuine, the original. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's Traffic 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
They were at my neighbor's house today. Overhead door. I heard them working this morning.
Hey, St. Louis, this is Brian Kilmeade. I always have a great time when I visit you guys, and I'm coming back this November. So join me, Brian Kilmeade, by getting tickets for the show at the factory at 971talk.com/events.
It's going to be a blast. November 21st, a Saturday night with Brian in town. And by the way, a rare Friday appearance from Mr. Kilmeade coming up right after 5 o'clock on 97.1 FM Talk. I don't know if your power went out last night. I think mine stayed on, but look, we had high winds. Dave Murray predicted it, and it kind of came through with a big blast to the north and northeast of us. They got hit much harder, so I think we got off easy. But I want to talk about Generator Supercenter of St. Louis, because if you have not gotten yourself a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer, what are you waiting for? It's really, really easy to do. They're not going to lock you into anything, but there's no harm in exploring, a free estimate and low monthly payments with financing. Give yourself peace of mind. You don't have to worry about the food spoiling. If you're out of town in particular, the power is going to kick right in no matter what. Within seconds, your home is back up and it's operating. These are not portable generators. They're going to make a lot of noise like your neighbors, like a lawnmower. It's going to put your house back with power, and you're going to be, happy, especially because it's not going to only help you with storms and ice storms and things like that, but we know that widespread power outages are happening because the old grid is going to cost a lot of money to upgrade. So this is really going to be an investment in the future, if you will, as well. 314-499-2020, Generator Supercenter of St. Louis.com. Cusumano's coming up next.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-887-4333. 314-887-4333. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-887-4333.
St. Louis, get ready for bold flavor done the Guaco Taco way. From the founders of U-Craft Brunch Cafe comes a fresh take on Tex-Mex. Chef-crafted tacos, fresh-made guac, loaded burritos, ice-cold margaritas, and flavor that hits from the very first bite. Located on Manchester Road, now open. Check out Guaco Taco, whether you're grabbing lunch, meeting friends for happy hour, or enjoying their elevated catering experience. You're not going to want to miss out. Fresh, flavor-packed Guaco Taco, elevated fresh mix.
Want to make the most of your tax refund? File with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it with a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
The Mark Reardon Show, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I mentioned Brian Kilmeade's coming up here in just a few minutes. He's in Los Angeles for the World Cup game. Right now, KSDK Sports Director Frank Cusumano for his regular Friday visit. And oh my goodness, there were some interesting roster moves made a little bit earlier this afternoon, weren't there, Frank?
Yeah, I tell you what, it seems like the rebuild is officially over. I mean, they're going for it. Nolan Gorman, 3 for his last 15 with 27 strikeouts since Memphis, and Blaze Jordan, who at one time was regarded as the best high school hitter in the country, has been recalled, and his minor league hitting resume is outstanding. It's an over 900 OPS, over 300 batting average. The big question is, can he play third? The vibes we've gotten from the Cardinals in the past, they're a little leery about him being a major league third baseman. But when you can hit like that, Gorman is in the situation he's in, why not take a shot?
So in this situation, my understanding is, you correct me if I get any of this wrong, we got him in the Steven Matz deal with the Red Sox. Is that true?
Was it Matz deal or was it the Sonny Gray?
Well, regardless, he was in the Boston system, right? And my understanding is the fans really loved this kid, and that one stung their fan base because of his potential.
Absolutely, and let's face it, the guy running the Cardinals, Chaim Bloom, used to run the Red Sox. He's well aware of this guy's hitting potential and hitting resume. And you know, Mark, the whole thing the last couple of weeks is, what do we do at the bottom of the order? Well, they got lucky and they got Lars Nootbaar back. Jimmy Crooks hit a home run yesterday, and now Blaze Jordan. I mean, pretty soon this lineup that only had 4 players producing could have 8 or 9. So I'm encouraged. I can't wait to see him. He's batting 8th and playing third base tonight against the Minnesota Twins.
So what do you do? Nootbaar's coming out. He's looking great right now. He's a fan favorite. Like when he hit a home run yesterday, my daughter goes, Noot, because she's 11 and she knows that, right? She doesn't know a lot of these other guys. But you get to the trade deadline, you might have to make a decision. I mean, at this point, I hope they keep him. It's early. We got a lot of weeks to go, but you know what I mean.
I think that the game plan at the beginning of the season was, no matter what's going on, sell, sell, sell. Well, I don't think the Cardinals thought they'd be first in the wild card and 8 teams over 500 with a chance to get better. So, look, everything evolves in sports. It evolves daily. And if the Cardinals are right, look, Mark, if you keep Dustin May, you have a chance to beat anybody in the playoffs except the Dodgers. So we'll see what happens, but things are evolving.
I love it. You know, and I when I saw that release today, and look, I feel bad for Nolan Gorman. I mean, he had a lot of potential, but you had to make a move, right? You couldn't let this go on. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see what's going to happen this weekend. What kind of shape do we find the Minnesota Twins in right now? Do you know?
Yeah, they are as many games under 500 as the Cardinals are over 500. So they're in a bad situation. I think it's a great chance to take 2 out of 3. The starting staff, with the exception of Livator, has been really good. I mean, let's face it, this is the best we felt about the Cardinals since we had Goldschmidt and Arenado finishing 1-2 in the MVP.
It was another great game in the Stanley Cup Finals, but Vegas is now finding themselves down 3-2. Game 6, I believe, is on Sunday night back at the T-Mobile Center in Las Vegas. That is a tough one. I expect that one to go to 7, but I don't know if I feel the same way about the Knicks and the Spurs, although the Spurs now have it at their home court. They lost 2 to begin the series, so who knows what's going to happen this weekend?
Yeah, on the NBA angle, it's interesting because the Spurs have led at one time by 29 points in one game. They led in another time by 17 points. They're capable of dominating the Knicks. They just don't finish like the Knicks because they don't have Jalen Brunson, and their best 3 players are 22, 21, and 20. So I can't wait to watch that game on Saturday night, too.
I mentioned Brian Kilmeade's coming up here in just a little bit after the top of the hour. He's in L.A. for the World Cup game tonight. Your thoughts on the World Cup with a soccer city that tends to really, really love this time of year?
Well, it's crazy. I encourage everybody to get a chance to head out to Energizer Park for the watch party of the United States game. There's going to be a lot of music, a lot of fun, a lot of great food. And our city will be one of the best World Cup cities without having a team. And in terms of the United States, I think this is a special team. This is a team that's going to, they have to get out of it and get to the field of 32, and I think they will.
So, are you going to feature, because I think you should on the Sunday night show, the slugger of the week, Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt, and that diving catch that he made the other night? You had to have seen that, didn't you?
We are. He is one of our guests.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Yes, he's one of our special guests. More to talk about what he's trying to do at college sports.
Yes.
But we'll celebrate his tremendous catch. And then we're also going to talk a little soccer with Brad Davis, one of the greatest soccer players ever produced by the St. Louis area. He's the pride of Chaminade.
Oh my gosh, Frank! I did not know that. I was just kind of kidding, just because he did make the top 10. It was number 5 at Sports Center, so yeah. I thought that was pretty cool. And he really takes it seriously. I mean, he was really prepping for this. I joked with him in his first game. He hit a triple several years ago, but man, he was gassed when he got to third base, and he even admitted seeing himself on film and being a little out of shape kind of motivated him to change things in the last couple of years. So have fun with that on Sunday night. I am off next week. I'm playing a little golf with our friend the King at Bell Reeve, so I'll let you know how that goes, and I'll talk to you a week from Monday, Frank.
Sounds great. Thank you, sir.
All right, take care. That's Frank Cusumano, KSDK. And I think his Sunday night show is going to be great. That's awesome that he's having Eric on.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
There was something else that was going on sports-wise today that I was going to talk about. I guess it's the UFC event, which, by the way, they tried to stop in court. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. So a federal judge denied an emergency injunction today. There were 2 activists that failed to establish irreparable harm or an aesthetic loss of enjoyment injury to the plaintiffs needed to create standing. Yeah. So it says the court rightly rejected an untimely and frivolous effort to halt the historic UFC event hosted to honor the 250th anniversary of our nation. That's according to the White House spokesman, Davis Ingle. The White House is thankful for this correct decision and looks forward to hosting its once-in-a-lifetime celebration on the South Lawn. I'm going to watch it. I'm not into the UFC that much, but I love the way that they've set up the ring, if you will, outside of the White House. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, they did a nice job.
Yeah, we'll have that. Now, you have done a podcast with our guest that's coming up at 5:30. Ed Wheatley's going to be here. Ed's done a lot of great coffee table books, and I got to tell you, I've seen them, but the cover of this book is phenomenal. The book is called The Finest in the Field, A History of Baseball with 50 Iconic Gloves. So tell me a little bit about what he writes about.
It's fascinating because Rawlings asked him to write it. And, Rawlings has been in St. Louis since the 1800s. And it shows you the first patents for the first gloves.
Oh, that's cool.
And it almost looks like a biking glove, like there's nothing to it. And how the gloves came along.
They evolved.
And evolved, as did the game. Because, I don't want to steal all his thunder. But he can tell you the story of baseball through the gloves. And then he goes to 50 different players. And, for instance, Ozzie Smith. And you'll see a picture of Ozzie's glove. And then you'll see the whole story of
love it.
Ozzy's first club. I mean, it's outstanding.
That is great. I remember, because Mickey Lolich died not too long ago, and the first glove that I remember having was a Mickey Lolich glove.
There you go.
Yeah, so it'll be fun to talk with that. He's coming in around 5:30. Plus, I will have audio cut of the day. Kilmeade, though, coming up right after 5.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads, it's not too bad for a Friday. If you are leaving downtown, westbound 70 looks great. It's a little slow at K and at Wentzville. 64, that's lined up. This is approaching Hampton out through McCausland with eastbound slowing at the Interbound and westbound slowing again. It's mainly from Highway N out through 70. Not a parking lot, just a little slow. And on the Illinois side, 5570 slowing in both directions there at 3rd Street. That's due to road work. We've got eastbound traffic on 64 slowing at 255. I'm Sue Thomas. That's traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
City SC's Summer of Soccer, presented by Purina, kicks off on Friday, June 12th with the biggest soccer celebration in St. Louis. This festival-style watch party on Lou Hughes Plaza at Energizer Park is free for all and open to the public. Show up at 5 p.m. for live music, local food and drink, giveaways, special appearances, and a live viewing of USA versus Paraguay on 5 massive screens. Learn more at summerofsoccerstl.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Elbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Zero Res wants to help you clean your home. Big summer savings right now. 3 rooms clean starting at $129. Plus, take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and ask for the 97.1 special.
Meet Linda. She's stuck in traffic with hundreds of thoughts racing through her mind, like what she needs to pack for her family's vacation and what they still need from the store. But you know what she's not thinking about? Her HVAC system. Linda is a preferred partner with Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation. Members of our preferred partner plan get 2 HVAC system checks per year. We clean and inspect your AC and furnace at each visit. Partners also get priority service and exclusive discounts starting at just $19 per month. Life is chaos, but with Air Comfort Service, you'll have peace of mind with your HVAC system. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-777-1979. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979.
Gentlemen, Mark Cox here. When's the last time you actually felt like yourself? Victory Men's Health specializes in hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, and longevity. It's built for everyday men who just want to feel better and perform their best. They already have offices in Town and Country, Sunset Hills, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. They're about to open a new location in Glen Carbon very soon. It's a higher standard of care just waiting for you. Learn more at victorymenshealth.com.
Has your child swallowed your medicine, your laundry detergent, your nail polish remover? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you inhaled paint thinner, glue, pesticides? Call the Poison Helpline. Have a question about a dose, a fume, something your kid just drank? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Little programming note, I'm going to be off all of next week. We'll have a variety of fill-ins, but we're not gone yet. And Brian Kilmeade is going to come up here after the top of the hour. He's in L.A. for the World Cup game. We'll get a preview of that. Ed Wheatley about his new book, The Finest in the Field, The History of the Baseball Glove through 50 Iconic Gloves.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
Closer. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Those words from Iran's foreign minister as the U.S. and Iran work toward ending the conflict in Iran.
A senior administration official confirms a deal is much closer to fruition, clarifying that one of the things both sides kept going back and forth on was the specificity of the commitment to destroy and dispose of enriched nuclear material. The official said Iran will be rewarded economically piecemeal as they comply with their obligations, and that this would include sanctions relief and unfreezing funds. Iran's foreign minister told Iranian state TV a deal is closer, but said nuclear issues would be discussed at later stages, and the deal is contingent upon an end to the U.S. blockade in the Strait of Hormuz and a ceasefire between Lebanon and Israel. He added that management of the strait will not return to pre-war levels and that their sword will always hang over the strait.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. President Trump said this week the agreement could be signed this weekend. Federal judge rules President Trump's name must come off the Kennedy Center by today.
Late Thursday, the Justice Department filed a last-minute appeal on behalf of the Kennedy Center's Trump-appointed Board of Trustees, seeking to keep the president's name on the building. Judge Cooper ruled on May 29th that Trump's name was illegally added to the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, finding only Congress could change its name, and ordered all references to Trump must be removed by June 12th.
Fox's Carmen Roberts. Meanwhile, a different judge has ruled the White House is allowed to stage a UFC fight on the White House lawn this weekend. The nonprofit Public Integrity Project had sued to challenge the Freedom 250 event. Wall Street stocks rose as oil prices fell again as it appears Iran deal is close. The Dow had 353, the Nasdaq 79, the S&P plus 37, and shares of SpaceX closed just over $161 a share in its initial public offering. America's listening to Fox News.
Please be advised. You may want to stop eating the following foods immediately: broccoli, kale, bean sprouts, blueberries, quinoa, spinach.
Wait, what? I thought those were good for me.
Turns out, not for everyone, because what's healthy for one person can cause inflammation for another. And the only way to really know what your body needs is to listen to it.
Listen, how?
That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple at-home gut health test that looks at your body's real-time biology using RNA to understand what's happening inside you right now. When your results come in, you'll know exactly which foods to eat, which to avoid, and which supplements are right for you, all based on the world's largest RNA-based human biology database and thousands of clinical research studies. And many people who use Viome report more energy, better digestion, and a better mood within months. So stop guessing. Start knowing. Learn more at viome.com/gut. V as in Victor, IOME.com/GUT. And use coupon code GUTHEALTH50 to save $50 off your purchase. Viome. Trust me.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
The northwest low doing its nice thing. Mostly clear skies this evening, dropping through the 70s, 66 for the low. On Saturday, partly sunny, little warmer, 86. We're ahead of the next cool front. There will be some scattered showers and a couple of thunderstorms around Saturday. Saturday night, scattered showers and some storms will bring heavy downpours of rain, some flash flooding, and lightning. 66. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Well, the internet is exploding, and mainly his platform is exploding because Elon Musk is now a trillionaire. Have you seen any of this today? Because people are losing their minds. Here's what's breaking: the average American is now closer to Jeff Bezos in net worth than Jeff Bezos is to Elon Musk. That's kind of a little side note, right? Because he went out there with SpaceX that had the IP today. All I know is he made a lot of money.
So. Well, you know what? The man has worked for it.
Well, I was kind of going over some of these. I got to find this now because my Twitter is paged up further than I thought. Yeah. So he's the only one getting. This is what Fox News says. Elon Musk isn't the only one getting richer from SpaceX going public. The stock surge is estimated to have turned about 4,400 current and former employees into millionaires through equity compensation accumulated during their time at the company. How about that? So they raised $75 billion, valuing the company at $1.8 trillion. That's what they're looking at. So he created 4,400 millionaires. 400 of them are over. Listen to this. 400 of them are worth over 100 million. By the way, these are welders, technicians,
Loves that.
cafeteria staff, because for 2 decades the
that.
company paid every one of them with stock that is higher than their salaries. I did not know that.
That is awesome.
He's this evil guy that no one
so
hates.
evil.
There have been a couple of really good tweets out there. I got to find this one because people are ripping into him on X, which is really even more funny considering that he's the guy who created the platform, right? So if you're gonna, here's one person, Sarah Ironside, that says, hey, if you're celebrating Elon Musk becoming a trillionaire while living paycheck to paycheck, I have secondhand embarrassment for you. Sasha Stone, who I follow out on Twitter, she's a reformed liberal. She said, if you're using X while criticizing Elon Musk, I have an even worse cringe for you, right? Just the irony there of that happening. Elon Musk is there. Here's another one. Elon Musk is the world's first trillionaire. Median wealth per adult globally is $8,000. That means that Elon Musk has 125 million times as much as the median person. Let that sink in. Who cares? Let it sink in.
Okay.
Right? So then someone's saying, if Elon just fasted for 2 days, he could feed all of the starving children.
Come on.
I mean, the jealousy that people have. I mean, good for Elon Musk has provided us with a lot of things.
Yes.
So has Bill Gates. He's a weirdo too. So has Steve Jobs back in the day. So I just love the people that complain about this the most. They're sitting on their devices just like I am, that that are worth a couple of $1,000 that they would never have if it wasn't for folks like this, right?
Yep.
One more thing before we get to Brian, who's out in LA for the World Cup. I think this is just amazing. So, and this was a bit of a surprise move here. Nolan Gorman was sent down to Memphis. This Blaze Jordan kid, who is 23 years old, he's going to play third base tonight. He'll bat eighth. He has been lighting it up down in Memphis. Danny Wackerman, who is on Cardinals TV, just tweeted out that Blaze's family left at 4 a.m. this morning from Mississippi to drive here. So they got a heads up because they didn't announce this till this morning. The Cardinals gave him number 33. He was pleasantly surprised to see that over his spring training number 84. So that's pretty cool. I guess Danny says that she's really good. She's on the Cardinals TV stuff this year for the first time. She says that she covered him in high school and he had incredible fanfare around him and navigated it like a pro. So my friend Joe Arnold, we're on this text string with Scott Jennings. Jennings has been quiet today, but Joe says that the Red Sox fans are going to really be upset because they love this kid. And it was something, we got him, I guess, I was right about this when I was talking to Frank. We got him in the Steven Matz deal from the Red Sox. Now, Chaim Bloom, who is our president and general manager, whatever you want to call him right now, he was in the Boston system. So, kind of the joke before the season started was that half of our team is coming from the Boston Red Sox. But apparently this kid is the real deal. We're going to see him tonight, batting eighth. All right, out to Los Angeles. The other big sporting event tonight, of course, the U.S. in the World Cup. Brian Kilmeade is there. How are you this afternoon?
Good. Getting ready. Going to pack up my stuff and go to the game shortly and watch the U.S. I hope win 2-0. I'm reading a 2-0 victory.
So you're geared up. You're a soccer guy. We know that. Are you working or are you just there as a fan or are you doing both?
Well, I'm going to use my credential to get in. That's what I'm going to do. But I'm not really recapping the game because I'm not working Saturday. But throughout the next 3.5 weeks, I'll be doing that, mostly in the New York area at MetLife, if I'm allowed to call it that. They have about 8 games there. So we'll see. I mean, it's interesting. Fox is going all in on this.
Yeah.
The anchors last night, the former players, Clint Dempsey, Carly Lloyd is fantastic, Lexi Laos, all these guys. So they're all in. I mean, I've never seen analysts, and I get it. They're just going for the U.S. I mean, but they're going to be critical if they need be. They're the experts. But they're not trying to find out, analyze and see what Paraguay's doing good. They're going to tell you, how to beat their defense and offense. And it really works for the network if the U.S. does well.
Absolutely. Yeah, so, St. Louis is a huge soccer town, Brian, you know that. So how would you and I'm not as, big a fan, and I don't know enough about it, but how would you handicap this one tonight? This is a game that, in theory, the U.S. should win, right?
Yeah, and evidently they're missing two of their best players who are hurt. So, I mean, they beat them 2-1 a year ago. I asked all these guys, does it matter from last year? And they said, not really, but you do have a sense of style of play. My thing is, and I never really thought about this too heavily. See, World Cup qualifying is key. Like, for example, nothing's a given. Italy's not here. They didn't qualify. There's been other great teams that didn't qualify. And I guess 8 years ago, we did not qualify.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be people in your own region to qualify. So everyone thought, isn't it great to host? Canada, U.S., Mexico didn't need to qualify. Yes, they're healthy, but they don't have that bonding experience of playing 12 games together, coming across from Italy and England and Germany and MLS and coming back and coming together and get that sense of team. So they didn't have that because they get automatic berth because we host. And they think that could work against these guys. But the counterweight to that is they've been playing together, at least 13 of them, since they were maybe 16 years old. And now this is their second World Cup. So they're going to feel a sense of, okay, it's really more pressure at home, but we have been under pressure before. And this is the same team that tied England 1-1, who was number 3 in the world. And, and I think they're better now. There's no question they're better now.
So realistically, because the women's team always has higher expectations, I think it's sometimes harder for fans to get in, just the, like casual fans, because the men's team is typically not as good. But do you legit give them a chance to win the whole thing?
Well, put it this way. I'm listening to all these guys. I apologize.
That's all right. That's all right. I know.
But this is right here. I'm watching Bruce Arena. I'm seeing Bob Bradley, and I'm seeing Greg Berhalter, and I'm talking to all these experts. And they go, well, the U.S. didn't get to the quarterfinals. I expect them to get to the quarterfinals. And I say to myself, wait a second. If you get to the quarterfinals, they're 15 in the world. Quarterfinals are top 8. If you get that close in a game, and people ridicule it, it's a one goal. We watch teams dominate and sometimes get dominated and win 1-0. There are ways to strategize that if you're playing against a better team where you just set up for a counterattack or two and you could win these games. If you really feel they're going to get to the quarterfinals for the first time ever, why don't you think they can win that game? Because things happen in soccer.
Absolutely.
We just watch it with the Knicks. We watched with the USA hockey team. They got outplayed for 2.5 periods, and they end up winning that game in overtime. So if you can get that far, if you're an expert and you watch this team practice and you tell me field of 8, they're going to get to the 8, then don't tell me they can't get to the final.
Yeah, right. No, I'm with you there. I think that's good handicapping. By the way, you weren't at that game on Wednesday for the Knicks, were you? Oh my God.
I was there Monday, sadly, not Wednesday.
That game, well, you probably would have left on Wednesday if you were there to go to bed early, but that was incredible in that series. And look, the Stanley Cup Finals are amazing right now. So for sports fans, it really is kind of crazy. Let's talk a little bit about politics. You're in California. Are they still counting ballots out there, Brian? Have you tried to help?
Oh, man, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's just unbelievable that this is acceptable. The thing is, they're not saying that anyone messed with the votes, but they're saying everyone got a ballot. They're saying if something turns up in the mail and it says post-dated election day, it gets to count. I mean, that is really
crazy.
Fundamentally, again, everybody should be unhappy with that. But this is when you're in power, you make the rules. And these are the rules they keep making and enforcing. That's why you need the Save America Act. Whatever it takes to pass that, I would pass that because you have to mandate. I would love to see mail-in voting just in situations where you're overseas, where you have a medical condition, where there's some type of external circumstances. Because just doing mail-in voting, I think, just invites opportunity to screw with the results. And if I was Trump, I'd message it this way. I don't care who wins. I just want the right person to win. I don't think Democrats and Republicans, I'm just thinking for the country, we need to believe in the process. And nobody looking at Los Angeles or the state of California believes in this process.
Yeah, it's awful. It's really shocking when I dug into it and figured out how they were doing this. And, it's like a third world country, the speed at which they get those ballots in. How much faith, Brian Kilmeade, do you have in the memo of understanding?
Well, something happened with
all these Gulf states going to the president yesterday together and just saying, look, we've been in contact with Iran. I actually do think they're double dealing, by the way, and we can get you the deal you need. So I want to see what's in it, but something happened yesterday. You remember, he was on with the morning with us, and minutes later, he's like, we're going to bomb, and today's going to be bigger than yesterday.
Right.
And then an hour later, of course, I hop on a plane, and I get off the plane, and everything's totally changed.
Yeah, well, that's what happened during my show yesterday, too. And like I think we've talked about, he's really using a lot of patience, a lot more patience than I would ever think. And the way that he explained it is when Carg Island got, into the mix, whatever leadership or whoever they're dealing with, that's when they panic. So he's going to be a little bit more patient and see if they can have a deal here. I'm still very suspect on whether or not diplomacy is going to work in any way, shape, or form. Do you have a show on Sunday night? Will we be back by that time?
Oh, yeah. Lee Zeldin is going to be with us. We have Senator Ron Johnson who's going to be here. We're also going to have the very funny Adam Hunter is going to be with us. He's a lead writer on Gutfeld, stand-up comedian. And Jamie Kennedy. He believes he can save. He's an actor, a comedian. He believes comedy's coming back, and he's not going to leave California. He's going to fix it. So good luck with that. I think it's a pretty good, it's a real good show. I hope everyone likes it.
Sunday night, One Nation with Brian Kilmeade. You have a great week. I'm off next week, so enjoy the World Cup, Brian. We'll talk in a couple of weeks.
All right, go get it, Mark. Thank you.
Mr. Kilmeade on a Friday. By the way, this show airs 9 p.m. Central Time here in St. Louis. The other thing that's going on, and we mentioned this, not to take you away from Brian's show, but the UFC fight is on Sunday night on Paramount Plus. And I ran across this. I should have pulled the audio for this, but I ran across it too late because Zach Brown is going to perform at this event, and he's defending it. He's not pulling out. And I love what he said here. He was on Pat McAfee's show, and he said, man, I'm there for the truth. I'm there to honor America, noting that 8,000 active service members will be in attendance at the event. This is patriotism, not politics for me. I mean, F all the division. I don't believe in that. I love this country. I love all the people that have sacrificed so that I can live my American dream and that everyone that lives here gets a chance to do that if they work hard and they make right decisions. So it doesn't have a place in politics for me. And I think he's right about that. And plus, he says he's also a huge fan of the UFC and honored that Dana White has given him the opportunity. Zach has been no stranger to publicity this year. I'll tell you that. He had, and I'm disappointed because I was supposed to see them at Sphere in January, and I had to cancel that trip. And I went a few weeks ago, but the residency at Sphere had wrapped up, and he did this thing, and it was somewhat controversial, kind of a guest spot on Survivor, and was part of that in the 50th season.
How are you a guest?
Well,
on Survivor.
Yeah, here's what happened. It was different, and it was maybe just a little bit too gimmicky, but basically the people that won a particular challenge were afforded a nice little home-cooked on-the-island meal with Zach. And he has some chops when it comes to cooking, and he played some songs for him. So essentially, he did his thing where he was slicing and dicing and cooking some stuff, and it was really impressive. But then he played guitar and he sang. But he's done a couple of these things where, again, whoever's behind his PR effort, they've gotten him out there a lot this year. I'll tell you that right now. All right, we're coming back with a little bit more then. And Wheatley at the bottom of the hour, talking about his brand new book on baseball gloves that Sue has sort of investigated already. It's fantastic. Plus, we'll have an audio cut of the day.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Hey, if you're leaving downtown, 70, a little bit slow at Jennings Station Road, and an accident reported at Florissant Road, and that's caused a delay. Once you get past there, things open up and don't slow again until Highway A. Now, 64 westbound, it's mainly moderate volume. It's approaching Hampton out through McCausland, and then it's slowing again, Lake St. Louis Boulevard out through 70. And eastbound traffic is slowing at the inner belt. Southbound 55 is in good shape. If you're headed into Illinois, there's some volume westbound 55, 64 at 3rd Street. They've got road work, but eastbound looks fine. But eastbound 64 jams at 157. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
The Gatlin Brothers and Crystal Gale are coming to the Family Arena for one magical night of country and Christmas, December 17th. It's the Gatlin Brothers Farewell Tour, and Crystal Gale is joining them to celebrate an evening of country's greatest hits and beautiful Christmas music. Don't miss the Gatlin Brothers and Crystal Gale. Tickets are available at the Carroll House Furniture box office at the Family Arena or at Ticketmaster.
One of rock's legendary voices, the original voice of Foreigner, Lou Graham, The Release Tour. Saturday, October 10th, the Family Arena with special guest John Waite. Tickets on sale now at the Carroll House Furniture box office located at the Family Arena and Ticketmaster. Don't miss the original voice of Foreigner. Lou Graham in concert. New album released coming March 27th.
Did you know replacing old vinyl windows with more vinyl windows might not be the best choice? Hi, it's Kim, and I'm here to tell you about Infinity from Marvin Windows, because these fiberglass windows, they're energy efficient, they're beautiful, and they're custom built to fit your home perfectly. The team at Lakeside Renovation and Design just makes the process so easy. I love the fact that they even offer a lifetime workmanship warranty. Look, if you're tired of drafts, high energy bills, or maybe hard to open windows, now's the time to upgrade. Visit windowsbylakeside.com to schedule your free consultation today.
I'm fixing to tell you something that the insurance industry does not want you to ever hear. Bullies often delay and deny. I see them sitting on premiums paid and making money and dragging it out for as long as they can. Many times, we're forced to take them to court. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Their high-paid lobbyists are on a mission to make sure that at trial, jurors are not allowed to learn that the at-fault party has insurance, and in some cases, lots of it. I can think of no case in all my years where there was no insurance for the at-fault party. So let's fight back. It's all these bullies understand. Tell everybody you know the truth. If you've been injured in a car crash or hurt at a store or business, visit forthepeople.com. We're here 24/7. It's that easy. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
License number GL250000615.
Hey, Dad, what causes drains to clog?
Grease, hair, soap scum, and tree roots.
Tree roots?
This town has old pipes and big trees. They find each other.
They grow inside pipes?
They bust into pipes.
Whoa.
Once they're in, the water stops flowing.
Can we fix it?
The big green grasser machine can fix any clog.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeServices.com.
Mark Reardon is St. Louis conservative.
Okay, so we got a little musical shout out here to do for my daughter. I don't know if you know who this is here, but it's Olivia Rodrigo with Robert Smith of The Cure, because they've been collaborating on a few things from her brand new album that's out today. So her dad is a huge Cure fan, has seen them like 30 times. She did some live stuff with Robert Smith, has gotten to know him, and this song is really good. You're What's Wrong With Me. This is what I love about this, and I've been highly educated on Olivia Rodrigo in the past 6 months because of an 11-year-old that lives in my house. And I mean, she has passed by everyone. Tay-Tay, everyone is not Olivia Rodrigo. And this is a new album that just came out today. Actually, it dropped last night. So I have to tell you, it's called You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love. And Drop Dead, the single from it, has been out for a couple of months. And I really liked it. But this is where I think it gets cool, because my daughter is a huge fan, but she's like, Daddy, I'm staying up. Well, first of all, she goes, I'm staying up till midnight so I can hear the new album. I'm like, well, you got swimming at 7 in the morning, okay? But I didn't want to stop her. So then I Googled it. I'm like, hey, I have some good news. It's 11 p.m. Central, because they were doing it nationwide. So even if you were on the West Coast, at midnight Eastern is when they released the album.
It's good thing you looked that up.
Well, I know, well, she was going to do it no matter what. But I love the fact that she did. She put her headphones on last night. She listened to the whole album. She got up this morning. She wanted me to hear songs, and she picked out a couple that she thought I would like. Right now, I like that one. I have listened to part of the album, but she is super talented. I mean, a lot of the I don't know that I can relate with the lyrics as much as maybe the teenagers or the chicks, but I tell you, there was this and I've said this before, there was an award show when she first, blew up with driver's license. What the hell is the deal? But I saw her do either that song live or another one on the Grammys or something like that. And it was that epiphany moment. I'm like, okay, she has got an immense amount of talent. But it was so cute listening to her. I didn't watch it, but I read about it. She was on Jimmy Kimmel, and she just gushed how her dad was so fond and excited
That's
to
really
meet Robert
cute.
Smith. Yeah, it is. And the song, we'll go out with it on the tail end of this too. You'll hear the chorus of the song, which is You're What's Wrong with Me from the new album. Okay, a couple of things here that I wanted to get to because I heard about this earlier and I did see Fox running some of this. So apparently Hunter Biden is I think he's trying to make a comeback here, okay, politically or whatever. He's got his addiction problems and all these other things behind him, being a felon, of course, doing cocaine and all that stuff. So I don't know what the win here is for Gavin Newsom, who has a podcast, who wants to be our nation's next president, but he had Hunter Biden on his podcast.
I'm joined today by presidential candidate Hunter Biden, 2028. Come on, Hunter. What's going on?
No.
You got the President of the United States, Donald Trump, talking about your candidacy for president.
I had to give you a break for just one day at least. Here's the deal. I'll run, but only as your VP, because the truth of the matter is the vice president's residence is a lot cooler. It's a lot easier job too.
They're laughing it up together. And I guess this is another thing that happened this week, and we didn't talk about it on the roundtable. Graham Plattner wins this primary in Maine. Most of the smart political people that know that state think that Susan Collins will probably win that double digits. She won the last time. But, look, he's going to draw a lot of attention because he's a Nazi. Isn't it ironic that the people that are calling all of us Nazis have a guy that's running that has a Nazi tattoo? And Hunter Biden, this is my favorite. I mean, keep this happening. Keep guys like Hunter Biden out there giving Graham Plattner a thumbs up.
I always say to people, like, show me your phone. Give me access to your iCloud. Let's go through it and pull everything that we can that is inappropriate, that is off color, that is that selfie that you took when you drunk off your ass and send it to your blah blah blah. Like, show me your phone. And if that's the standard by which we are going to judge people, particularly people in elected office, then I don't think we're going to have many people in elected office.
So that's basically Hunter Biden saying character not only doesn't matter, but no one has character. See, I don't accept that. I think you can pull a lot of reprehensible things from other people's phones, but I think there should be a higher standard for people who are in office. The problem is, and this is just, speaking candidly here, when you have President Trump with some things that are, on, I just say not the most complimentary things that have happened to President Trump. Some of this is stuff, been overblown, but then you guys got Graham Plattner and you got Talarico in Texas, and they use Trump as a defense. They don't think, they don't think they should criticize the guy with the Nazi tattoo because whatever he has or whatever he's done in his past can't even close to matching President Trump. And then on the Trump front, one more thing here. They were all pissed off about this reflective pool and redone in D.C. at the memorial soon. I really don't understand it. It looks beautiful. I don't know if you've seen the images.
Every one of us are working our tails off, and you keep coming to us for some nonsense stuff for not smart stuff. None of these folks are making over their reflector pools and are building giant arches in their backyards. They're trying to feed their families. They're trying to put gas in the car. They're trying to get to work.
Okay, I don't even know if I understand the point. We can't do two things at once. By the way, the people that are putting up the arches and the octagon and working on the reflective pool, they're actually working and they're making a living, right? Isn't that part of how the economy works? But anything that Trump touches, look, Biden or Kamala does this, they'd be rolling it out, it'd be leading CNN, it'd be everywhere. Oh, this is the last part of the song with Olivia Rodrigo and Robert Smith called "You're What's Wrong with Me." We're coming back with Ed Wheatley and his new book on baseball.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Accident westbound 70 at Florissant Road, and that is causing a delay. And beyond that, it's not bad. Little slow Highway A out through Wentzville. Eastbound 64 is slowing at Big Bend, but westbound looks good in the city. It's just slowing down Lake St. Louis Boulevard out through the 70 split. 55 down south is in good shape. 44 looks good. If you're headed into Illinois, we're fine on the bridges. 70 eastbound a little slow at 64, and westbound 55, 64 a little slow at 3rd Street. And eastbound 64 slows approaching 157. Slow moving train, Route 3 at Monsanto Avenue as well, going back and forth and causing delays there. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I'm Bill Hemmer, and these are the most impactful moments in American history. It was the summer of 1969, and on a dairy farm in upstate New York, a sea of people gathered together for 3 days of peace and music. The Woodstock Music Art Fair was a miraculous success born out of chaos. The tiny town of Bethel had gotten ready for 50,000 attendees, but instead, they were greeted by 400,000 individuals from all over America. Independent artists like Carlos Santana became household names. Others like Janis Joplin, The Who, Jimi Hendrix, and the Grateful Dead cemented themselves as rock icons. The festival was a snapshot of the free-spirited optimism that captivated America's youth and proved that music can be a powerful vessel for change.
America 250 on 97.1 FM Talk, sponsored by Paramount Mix Medical Center.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Fry, and Mark Reardon, along with Bob and Tammy Kershaw of the Retirement Advisor Group, to learn how to create your worry-free retirement. We'll meet June 16th at the Doubletree Hotel in Chesterfield at 6:30. Here are Bob and Tammy with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering how to turn your 401k and IRA into a worry-free retirement? Would you like to learn the strategies that give you market growth but protects you from market losses at the same time?
Would you like to get a free personalized retirement income plan? And did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to create a worry-free retirement. If you're 59 and a half or older, you cannot afford to miss this event.
Have a worry-free retirement. Join the official financial advisors of my show, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, at the Doubletree Hotel in Chesterfield, Tuesday, June 16th at 6:30. Go to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
With summer here and the kids home full time, your garage door will see a lot more use. Do it a favor with annual maintenance from Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The 26-point tune-up is one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Get them all done. Trusted in St. Louis for 100 years. Always look for the genuine, the original Red Ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Since 1926, they're never going to steer you wrong. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
And this portion of the show is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Celebrating 250 years of freedom and 25 years of 97.1 FM Talk in St. Louis.
Thought I'd throw a little Stevie Wonder in for us here this afternoon.
Ooh,
So I was in kind of a mood for that since I do play a little bumper music on Fridays. It's my self-indulgent hour, if you will. Hey, I'm really excited about our next guest. We've spoken with him many times before, Ed Wheatley, who has written a lot of local sports books, including a couple focusing on the St. Louis Browns. My favorite t-shirt I have right now is the St. Louis Browns t-shirt. I'd like to quiz people and say, what t-shirt is that? Because they don't know. Ed, how are you? Wait a second here. Let's get you right, Mike. You're on Fred's mic. We got all kinds of confusion. I think we have you there. You have a new book now called The Finest in the Field, A History of Baseball Through 50 Iconic Gloves. This may be the most beautiful coffee table book that I've ever held in my hands in my entire life. It is gorgeous. I haven't even opened it yet, but it is a beautiful book, Ed.
It is. The photography is outstanding, the way we framed it and laid it out. I mean, Bob Costas, one word description of the book, beautiful, just like you, because I think people see it and you open up those, see these pictures of these gloves, Ty Cobb, all of the back from the early 90s, the wrinkles and that. They are, the gloves in here, whether it's Stan or Christy Matheson or whoever, it's the glove of that moment.
You had Johnny Bench, little no name, write an intro for you here. Huh? How did that come about?
Well, we were looking for someone, my resume, films, and both are St. Louis, Rawlings is St. Louis. We really wanted a national brand. We didn't want this to be, made as a St. Louis product.
Right.
This is the story of baseball across the nation and actually across the world, because they do get into Japanese and Korean players who now, are so prominent, and how
Well, that's a good
how
point.
their points came
Right.
into baseball and their gloves, and you'll see the actual gloves.
So you kind of start the story with Johnny, and then the next there's a couple of different introductions
Yeah.
because Mike Thompson, who is the chief
Rawlings.
marketing officer from Rawlings, sort of
Right.
does a little history, doesn't he?
Gives a little history. He's been there 40 years, and he's been a part of this evolution. And then we go back to I tried to hook the readers to I used to joke. We talked about it yesterday. A young man's first love in grade school was not the blue-eyed, freckle-faced girl. Something else would lace his glove.
Oh, that's
And
true.
then he goes immediate to the memory of that glove. 40 years later, he'll tell you exactly the color, model, make, whose signature was in it, how he formed the pocket, and all this.
That is
And-
100%
Oh, yeah.
accurate.
Yeah.
It
Like,
does.
You're bringing me back
Everybody
to Italy.
immediately says, I had, Mickey Mantle.
I had Mickey Lolich. That was my
Mickey
first
Lolich,
one.
the
Yeah.
Detroit Tigers. And then from there, I went to the Hall of Fame Gold Glovers, got their stories of their first gloves. I said, did you do it like Nolan Arenado, Ozzie, Johnny Bench? Johnny Bench, since you spoke to him, he had to work the summers in the cotton fields of Oklahoma. I didn't know
Really?
there was cotton in Oklahoma, but there is. And that's how he raised the money to get his first glove. And they all have their unique stories. And I also did, like the women, the Hummers, great fast pitch team of St. Louis from the 70s. Went back. How did they have the same feelings and same memories as a boy. So it just blows. And then
Well, the names here, let's go over some names because they're not all necessarily people who are Hall of Fame baseball players. You have George Herbert Walker Bush in here talking about baseball gloves. Obviously, a ton of legends in here.
George Herbert Walker Bush had a unique story with the glove. He was a good ball player at Yale. He played in the first 2 College World Series. He was a good glove man, okay hitter. Then he got into the war and politics and things of that nature. But he carried that glove with him, in Congress. When he was vice president, he'd go to, certain games and, old timer games and play. And then when he went to the White House, he took that glove. It was the Rawlings first baseman, the Trapper, the big glove of the 40s, and he kept it in the Oval Office in his desk. And he'd always get out and clean it. When he had people doing meetings there in the Oval Office, he was pounding his glove. That's how he thought. If he had to make
that
decisions,
was
he
his
got
way
his
of
glove
thinking.
out. So I thought that had to be in the book. It was about the glove and the unique
That's so cool.
glove. And his son, President George W. Bush, sent me a nice handwritten letter about how much he loved it and his dad's stories, and thanking him for putting his dad in the book.
And I just got the book, so my apologies. But when you cover all the Hall of Famers and those that have left the planet, how do you do that?
Research.
Just research?
I worked with the Hall of Fame. We worked with a lot of the teams, their archivists. They have, like, the Cardinals has a Hall of Fame over there. Everybody, once they heard about what we were doing, got kind of turned on, and we're here for you. And because we wanted these to be the real gloves. They have, like Willie Mays, 1954, the overhead catch that everybody says is the greatest catch in baseball. We got the pictures. We got steps of the picture, and then the big one, and then we got the glove.
Yeah,
the
nice.
glove he made the catch, and there's a story about the glove. He actually borrowed a Harvey Haddock's glove, and that's what they used. So it wasn't his normal glove. So
that's interesting too.
There's a lot of interesting.
So the names, I don't know how you narrow this down, but you
Yeah.
got Roberto Clemente, Ken Boyer. I'm going to skip over some of it. A lot of Cardinals, Bob Gibson, Kurt Flood, Thurman Munson. He was one of my favorites when I was a kid. Davey Concepcion, Steve Garvey, Reggie Jackson, Keith Hernandez. I'm going to skip over a couple. I saw Mike Schmidt hit 4 home runs in one day at Wrigley Field in like 1978. He's in here. Rhino and Sandberg. You have Kurt Cub in there, I guess. A-Rod, Yachty's in there, of course. What's Yachty's story? Can you remember that one?
Well, back up and lead right into it is none of these 50 stories are the same. And it couldn't be just not the same. They had to find something unique. And really, it started with his brother calling him in Spanish, the Marsh, like El Marciano, however you say it, because this guy's out of the world how he plays.
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
get into that, and and he's winning all these platinum gloves on top of the gold gloves. And the platinum is the best of all the gloves winners. So it really starts with he's out of the world in the way he plays. And so just that little phrase his brother said led me into a story, but it was to make sure none of these were repetitive stories. There was uniqueness.
Was it tougher to really kinda dial in on the more modern players? Because, like, you have Arenado in there, speaking of platinum glove, Manny Machado, Freddie Freeman I love. I love Freddie Freeman. He's just amazing. Fernando Tatis Jr., they removed his chapter the way he was playing earlier. Aaron Judge, of course, Chan-Ho Park, and Ha-Seong Kim, and then Cal Raleigh, the big dumper, the guy that won the home run derby last year and hit I don't know how many damn home runs. Although I don't think he's having the best year this year either, is he? Oh, is he?
I'll tell you a real quick Cal Raleigh story. First, I was debating over this 50. You got to. I wanted by generation.
Yeah.
Then we wanted it by positions. We didn't want them to all be second basemen or or pitchers, and lay these guys out, and then finding the unique stories. And some of them, like, I don't find a good story. But Cal Raleigh, in 2024, he was the American League Platinum Glove winner. And then he starts out, and we had this discussion, and he's like, and I'm saying, yeah. So we had a little battle going. I was pushing yes for Cal. And he stayed in because then all of a sudden, he just took off last year and was this great. So in January, he stopped in town to get some equipment fitted and stuff out of Rawlings and take a look at the book. And he's like, oh my God. The book is also the evolution of baseball, plus the evolution of the glove and how the glove changes baseball. Because the first 10 years, they didn't wear gloves. And it had all these rules, and they start changing.
They didn't even wear gloves at all?
No. First 10
Really?
years, it was very, and
So
an outfielder could catch a fly ball on a bounce, and it's an out. So rules like
Because
that.
they
Now
had
you
no
get
hand
gloves.
protection, so you couldn't be chasing
And then
it
the
down.
first gloves, you'll see the very first glove, you'll see the pieces in it. It didn't even cover the fingers; it was just the palm.
Yeah,
It was
no, I
really
knew
good
that.
protection.
Like, when you
So-
see the older gloves.
But Cal Raleigh's in, and he's looking through the Babe Ruth in here, Rogers Hornsby, on and on, just like you were naming. Keep going. Holy! Swallowed up delete. What is this?
He didn't know he was in?
He did not know he was in.
my
He was
gosh.
like a kid on Christmas morning.
Dude.
Can I get in here? What?
That's
it's like,
amazing.
You had a
Yeah.
story. You were the best defensive player in 2024, and your story, I just had to put it in. I mean, but that's the joy. And like even in Ozzy, you talk to him, and he's excited because it means so much to be with all these people.
Yeah.
In the same book, as I said, with Roberto Clemente. All these Jackie Robinson, they're all in there, and the people that we chose that are living this, they're so honored because their stories is the equivalent of, like, the great Roger Hornsby or Babe Ruth story, which 100 years ago this season, 1926, Game 7 of the World Series, ninth inning, the Cardinals were winning by a run in New York. Grover Cleveland has already, previous inning, struck out Tony Lazzeri with the bases loaded. Here we are in the ninth. He gets the first two batters on the Yankees. They walk Ruth because you're not going to pitch to Ruth and have the game tied. Bob Musial, a great hitter, followed by Lou Gehrig. Ruth thinking, well, people go, what was he thinking? I'll tell you in a minute. He takes off to steal second base. A throw, a catch, a tag, a World Series championship. The Cardinals' first World Series championship was won by throwing out Babe Ruth with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth in the seventh inning of the seventh game of the World Series. But to Ruth's honesty,
defense,
he immediately, I found all the clubhouse interviews after the game. 'Cause today people think he was a goat or something. For why would you steal? He said the way Alexander was pitching, he'd already won 2 games in the second and sixth game. We couldn't touch him. You saw what he did to Lazzeri. I don't know if Musial or Gehrig could even get a hit. If they did, it might be a flare. I can't score from first base, but if I can surprise the Cardinals and I'm on second, a flare goes through.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It does make sense. But so that's a part of retelling history correctly to the people.
Yeah.
Part of the fun of this book, I think, is that you can watch how the glove develops. But when you look at these 50 people, so you can see it with the player. Oh, he was using that? And this is the amazing what he was able to do with that glove, all the way up to the most sophisticated ones of today. So it's like the history of baseball, but the stories behind it and the equipment that you get to see, it really is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you see, when they first played, we said the first glove didn't have fingers covered. And
Right.
They got a glove in 1900 that covered their fingers, but it was like a big winter glove. You know the old saying, your dad and coaches told you use two hands. This hand with your glove stopped it. The other one held it. There was no pocket.
Yeah.
And the pocket really first started in 1919. Bill Doak had Rawlings attached from the first finger to the thumb. None of the other fingers had lace or anything, but that kind of was the first pocket. And then over time into the 40s, they finally started connecting the fingers.
Was there any kind of, because what I remember, and this is just flashing back to when I was a kid and working in that glove, and then that glove becomes a part of your body,
Well,
right?
The glove is not only a part of your body. We talk about it in the book and all our, is the most personal thing in baseball because it is you. It is your hand. Rule number one: don't ever put your hand in somebody else's glove.
There you go.
But you get spikes, you get bats break, spikes wear out. But your glove is the most personal thing. And the stories of people, how they put it under their pillow at night, they put it under their bed and a Wonder Bread wrapper, and just that was the thing. People would go put it under handlebars, or they would have it in your belt.
Yes.
All these memories come flying back.
It's awesome. Well, look, this honestly, just the aesthetic beauty of this book is quite something. You should be very proud of that. It's called The Finest in the Field, A History of Baseball Through 50 Iconic Gloves, Ed Wheatley, and a forward by Johnny Bench, and a bunch of Cardinals featured in here. So do you have any events coming up? Look, I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to send, I'm going to send a copy of this to? Scott Jennings.
That's a good idea.
Joe Arnold.
Yes.
I mean, any baseball fan, this is really,
Father's Day, baby.
Dude, it is mind-blowing how beautiful this is. It really is.
You look at those pictures, and you look at that glove and Christy Matthews in the 1905 World Series, where he threw 3 shutouts in the series, and it's the wrinkled, and it's
so
there.
cool.
It was the first glove in the Hall of Fame's collection. He gave it this.
Oh, really?
The first induction. He was in the first class, and he said, "Here's my glove." And
So you're going to hear a much, much better version of this interview when Stu does her podcast with Ed, because that will air. Will that air this weekend?
The
Or?
history of the loot with Stu, probably not this weekend,
Okay.
the weekend after.
But do you have any signing events or anything coming up?
Yeah, we've got. Well, first of all, we headed to Cooperstown. Cooperstown's picked it for a recognition. And
That's
we'll
good.
be in
So
Cooperstown. But we're going to
outstanding.
we got a thing on the 29th. I think it's 27, 20. Whatever that Saturday is. We're going to do a thing down at the Cardinal Hall of Fame on it. We've got several of the Cardinals will be there autographing as well. And basically, look at my Facebook page. We're all over the country. We're going to have something in Kansas City, hopefully with Salvador Perez and Cruz.
He's featured in here.
Yeah.
That dude's a stud,
So we're
right?
getting a lot of these, and we're going to be across the country. Roberto Clemente coming, but we got a lot coming in St. Louis.
That is awesome.
The big one will be at the end of the month at the Cardinal Hall of Fame.
Ed Wheatley, thank you so much for coming
Thank
in here. Thank you for the book. It really is quite something. And as a baseball fan, I feel honored to have a copy here. And
It
good
is.
luck with everything. And it would make a perfect Father's Day gift,
Yeah.
wouldn't it, Ed?
We will.
Are you working on the next project yet?
We've got a couple. This is taking a little break here because we're traveling so much promoting it. But we got a couple other projects. I got the Browns luncheon this coming Wednesday, bringing in Yogi Berra's family. We're going to talk.
Oh, that's cool. That is
300-400
cool.
people at the MAC. We're going to highlight the greatest player who ever made the major league from St. Louis.
The
Yogi
downtown
Berra.
or out west?
It's the
Downtown
MAC
deal?
downtown.
Cool.
But
Cool.
speaking of that, the following Wednesday, 'cause I'm over the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame as well, we're going to host. We just announced a partnership with the MAC. They are now the official home of the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame.
Awesome.
And we are going to have a series of sports talks, a pop-up happy hour sports talks at the MAC West on the Wednesday the 24th. And I got Bill McDermott, Mr. Soccer, and 5 players who played for Team USA and some of them in the World Cup. And we're just going to have a happy hour. We'll talk. It's free. It's at the MAC. You can go to STL Sports Hall of Fame, STLSHOF, and register. And that way people can ask questions and intermingle after they give their little talk. But we're going to be doing series like that around town over the.
I will promote the MAC stuff because I work with the embassy and I'm a proud member. And, that's awesome. Congratulations. Thank you so
very
much for coming in. Good luck. I don't think you need our help because this book's going to sell itself once people see it. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, bud.
Traffic on the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We've got a jam on westbound 70, and it's just because of an accident at Florissant Road. Hopefully that will thin out fairly quickly. Now, 6440 looks fine westbound, but eastbound it's slowing 170 through Big Bend. 55 is in good shape. Southbound 270 looks good. On the Illinois side, a little bit of volume westbound. 5564 at 3rd Street and eastbound 64 at 255. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
97.1 FM Talk in action.
It's Mark Cox. Our friends at the USO Missouri are looking for volunteers. From Lambert Airport to Fort Leonard Wood, volunteers help provide comfort and support to those serving our country. Learn more at missouri.uso.org.
One of the biggest gifts you can give your family is peace of mind. That's why I trust and recommend Civia Law. They've helped so many families, including mine, right here in our community with estate planning, wills, trusts, powers of attorney, and elder law issues. I've seen how stressful it can be when a loved one passes without a plan. Families are left confused, sometimes tied up in probate court, and it can cost so much in time and money. But with Civia Law, you don't have to worry about that. They'll walk you through everything and even deliver your completed documents in just 2 weeks from your first appointment. And here's something special just for you. Mention the Annie Fry Show, and the first 10 listeners right now will get a free strategy session. That's a $300 value. 833-995-WILL. Just be sure to mention the Annie Fry Show when you call. Civia Law has 7 convenient locations across Illinois and Missouri, including in Edwardsville, Swansea, and Creve Coeur. Secure your legacy and protect the people you love. Call 833-995-WILL. That's 833-995-WILL, or visit civialaw.com.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds, you're overweight. Winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you got to call Big Lou because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds too. Get a quote right now at 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979 or biglou.com.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better egg.
The Mark Reardon Show is St. Louis Conservative.
Audio cut of the day coming up here in just a couple of minutes. As I played this great Steven Sanchez song that I love so much, Chuck for Money. I did want to tell the audience, Fred and Sue, something that I not mentioned yet today, and I'm off all next week. So last night, I sent this text message to George Rosenthal from Throttling. You ready for this one? So I don't want you to get too emotional, but I took some big steps. I'm not supposed to say this. We're adopting this kitten. You didn't hear that part. And I just asked Gemini a bunch of questions about integration, etc. Aren't you proud of me? Baby steps, but still. So I started my AI last night. I'm like, how do you manage with some other animals, bringing a Maine Coon kitten into the household, and gave me all kinds of steps that I'll probably ignore. But I have started. It's really, for me, it's kind of getting out of the gate, and I've gotten out of the gate, Fred. How about that?
It's amazing. What's the zoo total like now?
We can't say that because I think we're breaking, federal, state, and local and municipal laws. So we're not going to give any kind of numbers. They've all died. They've all passed away. Now we only have one in the house. That's what I'm going with right now, okay? Because I don't want to get in any more trouble with the county.
Playback ready. Now, the audio cut of the day.
Well, I'm going to go with something just because we played it earlier, but it's kind of crazy. There was a really, really bad tornado up in Streeter, Illinois, northwest Illinois, and northeast Illinois, in Indiana area. And there was a guy, I'm going to play the first bite here is what he encountered, and then I'm going to play a little bit more. But the storm chaser was following the storm, and then in the aftermath, and I mean, it was a lot of damage. It was a smaller area, but it looks like Springfield from 20 years ago or whenever that was, 15 years ago, just a much smaller version of it.
I am a storm chaser slash video journalist, and I was able to get pretty close to this tornado. I would estimate it at least an EF2, in my opinion. It was very dramatic looking. I was just hoping that it was just over fields instead of any populated areas, but that was not the case. And after I was done filming the actual tornado, I wound up in South Streeter, just videotaping some of the damage, and a lady, maybe about 100 yards away, started screaming for help. And I'm like, and I ran over there, and she goes, her husband is stuck underneath the rubble in their leveled house. So I gave her the camera, and I'm like, oh my God, and I tried to help them lift a heavy door off the man's leg, and then the police showed up, and they were able to complete the rescue. So yeah, very crazy stuff.
So that you hear that was a TV interview, and he's describing what happened. They were showing the video, but this is what it sounded like.
Oh my God, are you okay?
I think I got a broken leg.
You got a broken leg?
I think so. I think it's
this piece here?
This one here. If we can get this, I might be able to slide.
Yeah, here, you want to hold this?
Yes. Yes.
The good news is they got him out, and he was okay. But daunting. That's your audio cut of the day. Stu, I'm off next week. We'll talk in about a week and a half.
I mean, good. Have fun.
We'll see you.
Catch anything you missed today by getting the show podcast at 971talk.com.